Welcome to Infinite Novel. Dive into epic alternate realities. All rights to original creators.
Chapter 126 Chapter 126 The progress of the White Frame has reached the current state. Capone Beeg. Hey, they thought they acted well. Basil Hawkins, they did really well, but they didn't know they were acting in the script that Red Border Luffy wrote for them. Jewelry Bonnie. Yes, we are able to be so thorough because we are Watcher. If we try to put ourselves into their roles, I guess we can't even do half of their performance. Trafalgar Law. They are so pitiful, tried every means to infiltrate in, and finally became a cleaner. Scratchman. Apu. They must be still secretly happy in their hearts. Ape Papa. Kong. What a bunch of idiots. Rox D. Xebec. Can this be blamed on them? Isn't the rule given by the world's government too stupid? As long as it is an order issued by the CP9 chief, it must be carried out regardless of whether it is right or wrong. If it is stupid, then it's the world government that told them to do it must also be stupid. Gold Roger. Haha, that's right. Saint Ethan Baron V. Nasturo. Hee. You can only enjoy running your mouth. If you have the ability, come to Marie Joy's and talk about it in front of us. Shiki. Damn. What idiot would take the initiative to go to someone else's site to mock them? Why don't you go to the Four Emperors site to give Four Emperors? Charlotte Linland. Mamama. If he dares to come, I will make him a homies. The Straw Hat Pirates stayed in the capital of Water 7 for another month. The new ship is finally ready. Because it was built by Frankie himself, Luffy gave Frankie the opportunity to name the ship. The name, Frankie actually thought of it a long time ago. Thousand Sunny. When this giant ship entered the sea, a large amount of seawater was instantly displaced. In addition, the Mary has also been strengthened. Using the latest treasure atom tree alloy to coat the whole body of the Mary with a layer of 10 centimeters thick film, which greatly improves the durability of the Mary. Then the power system also adds a jet shell power under Frankie's perfect technology. You know, on the sea, the most indispensable thing is the wind. Frankie evenly divided the Beauty's jet blast shells into two batches. When one batch of jet shells runs out of power, another batch of jet shells will start automatically, because when the ship is sailing, it will generate a strong wind force and airflow. At this time, the first batch of jet shells that have exhausted their wind power will turn 180 degrees and start to replenish wind energy. In this way, the wind power of the Mary is like a perpetual motion machine. Of course, this method is currently only suitable for the Mary. As for the Thousand Sunny, because it is too big, there are not enough gusts for the time being. Attention all positions. The Mary is about to birth. Frankie ordered in the control room of Thousand Sunny. The position of the birthing door is ready. The birthing position is ready. On the birth door, Kiwi and Mose responded with the intercom bugs respectively. The two of them were originally the Cube sisters of Frankie's family, and also Frankie's most loyal female companions. Frankie went out to sea with the Straw Hat Pirates this time, and originally planned to leave Frankie's house alone. However, when the Thousand Sunny officially launched into the sea, Frankie discovered the problem of insufficient manpower. This big ship, if there is not enough manpower, it will fall into an embarrassing situation that cannot be operated. As for the members of the original Straw Hat Pirates, only Usopp knows a little bit more about these operations, and the others are useless for this. In desperation, Frankie can only explain this problem to Luffy. Subsequently, the Straw Hat Pirates have a meeting. The situation they faced at the time was, either let the three of CP9 touch these things or they can only increase the manpower. As for the item that allowed the three of CP9 to touch the internal operation of the Thousand Sunny, it was unanimously voted down by all the crew members. Then Frankie recommended the Cube sisters, who have always been loyal to him. The two people's shipbuilding skills are not good, but their ship operation are definitely second only to Frankie. The most important thing is that the two of them have followed Frankie for many years, and they can be said to be Frankie's super assistants, and the tacit understanding is full. Eventually, Kiwi and Mose boarded the ship as Frankie's assistants. Although they are not official partners, they are members of Frankie's family, and their status is much higher than that of the cleaning trio. Ha ha. Come. Luffy is sitting on the sheep's head of the Mary, and with the deceleration of the jet shell, the Mary has entered the berth at the bottom of the Thousand Sunny mooring lock. The berthing door is closed. With Kiwi and Mose completing their respective operations, the first show of the ship swallows the ship is perfectly completed. Great. Even if we are diving in the future, we don't have to worry about the Mary. Luffy jumped off the sheep's head with his hands raised high. Captain. Kiwi and Mose follow Frankie's instructions and gave respect. Luffy smiles and nods in response. Luffy looked around. The environment is still unfamiliar, subconsciously asked, how can I get up? This way please. Captain. Kiwi and Mose, one on the left and one on the right, lead the way for Luffy. The rest of the Straw Hat Pirates followed suit. Wow. This ship looks amazing. Chopper looked around with a pair of small eyes, constantly amazed. Robin stretched out her hands to touch the grooves on both sides of the passage, and couldn't help but said, as the two personal disciples of the world's #1 shipbuilder, their shipbuilding skills are really strong. She had been on many ships before, but this is the first time she has seen a ship with such details in every place. How to say? If you have to compare, other people's ship are like clay dolls made by children, while the Thousand Sunny is an exquisite work of art made by craftsmen, and the interior of this exquisite artwork is full of various high-tech. On deck, Califa, I need some more foam. Keiku has now turned into a half-human half-giraffe form, expanding the cleaning range. Coming. Califa's body is now in the shape of a sheep made of foam, and her feet are also foam. She quickly slid to Keiku's side, put soap on the 10 electric boards and ran. That's right. The 2 devil fruits that Usopp brought back from an ice lobby were eaten by the 2 of them. Originally, Luffy just let Califa eat the bubble fruit, which is convenient for cleaning the pirate ship, but it's useless to leave a Zoan devil fruit in the form of a giraffe. It happened to be eaten by Keiku. Of course, this is not to strengthen Keiku, but to weaken him. The 3 of CP9 are now devil fruit user, which causes them to be imprisoned by sea stone and they cannot escape on the sea. Miss Califa, we need soap bubbles here too. Sanji is wiping the floor, looking at Califa with red hearts in his eyes. Thank you Sanji-kun. Califa's soap sheep came over. Sanji was so excited that his nose bleed during the ardent work on the deck. The Thousand Sunny left the capital of Water 7 and embarked on a journey. The video and the red border screen slowly dimmed. Roronoa Zoro, hey, look at his stupidity, what an embarrassment. Vinsmoke Sanji, asshole. You idiot green algae, do you know how to respect women's chivalry? Nami, obviously lustful. Chopper, yeah, Sanji is lustful. Brook, Sanji's lust is recognized by everyone. Yo ho 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 ho. Vinsmoke Sanji, hey. Brook, it's fine if others say that to me, but you don't have the right to say it. Not long. The screen with white borders gradually brightened. The video start. The Straw Hats enjoy their new ship's features before encountering a mysterious barrel and a ghost ship in the Florian Triangle. They meet Brook, a talking skeleton, who joins the crew. Brook explains his shadow was stolen, preventing him from leaving the foggy area. The crew explores Thriller Bark, encountering various dangers, including zombies and the shadow-stealing Moria. Luffy's shadow is taken, leading to a plan to retrieve it before sunrise. Oars, a giant zombie, wreaks havoc, while the crew battles Perona and Ryama. Sanji rushes to save Nami from a forced wedding with Absalom, as Zoro prepares to fight Ryama for Brook's honor. As Luffy confronts Moria, demanding the return of their stolen shadows, the clash of wills sparks a battle of epic proportions. Moria's cunning manipulations and shadowy abilities test Luffy's resolve, but the young pirate's determination knows no bounds. With each blow exchanged, the tension mounts, leading to a showdown that will determine the fate of Thriller Bark. Meanwhile, Sanji finds himself entangled in a bizarre encounter with Absalom, a peculiar foe obsessed with claiming Nami as his bride. Their skirmish escalates into a whirlwind of explosive action, with Sanji's martial prowess pitted against Absalom's otherworldly powers. Elsewhere, Usopp faces off against the enigmatic Perona, whose spectral abilities prove to be a formidable challenge. As Usopp struggles to overcome her ghostly defenses, a battle of wits unfolds amidst the shadows of Thriller Bark. Amidst the chaos, Zoro locked in a duel with Ryama, a legendary swordsman whose prowess matches his own. Their clash echoes through the night, a testament to the strength and determination of both warriors. And finally Zoro won the fight and gained a new sword. Meanwhile, Robin and Chopper are fighting Hogback, but are restrained by Jigoro and Inup, until the two, bearing Zoro's and Sanji's shadow and their personality traits, begin to fight when Hogback orders them to kill anyone who gets in their way. Robin then holds Hogback's mouth shut, tricking him into order them to jump off the building. Hogback, angered after the crushing, does indeed shout it out in anger, making the two zombies jump off instead. Chopper talks about how Hogback has failed as a doctor. In a different place, Oars chases Usopp and Sanji respectively, while this interruption makes it possible for Absalom to once again steal Nami away from Sanji. The crew is reunited, just as Oars is standing in the courtyard, yelling at the Straw Hats to come out, to which Frankie replies that they have to take him down together. Luffy continues to chase Moria while the rest of the crew, minus Nami, faces off against Oars. Zoro creates an opening for Usopp to launch the salt into Oars' mouth but gets knocked out in the process, but instead of Luffy's shadow coming out, Moria's does and throws the salt back at Usopp. Moria orders Oars to stomp Nami and Usopp, but Luffy arrives in time to save them. Oars uses his Goma Goma no rifle on Luffy, who stops it with one hand and proceeds to send Oars flying into Thriller Bark's forest. 38 The rolling pirates arrive and tend to the wounded Straw Hats while Nightmare Luffy unleashes a barrage of attacks against Oars and Moria, at one point slashing through Oars with a sword, hitting Moria in the face with a Goma Goma no pistol, and seemingly finishing them off with Goma Goma no storm. All the shadows then leave Luffy, and he goes unconscious as the victims of Moria cheer that Thriller Bark has fallen. However, shortly afterward, Oars gets back on his feet and the sun is almost up. The rest of the Straw Hats and Brook make it to their feet to end the fight with Oars. Usopp and Frankie make a freezing wind cannon to turn the water from Nami's rain tempo to ice to keep Oars from moving his legs. Robin uses her powers to create legs for Brook to jump on while carrying Luffy to the top of Thriller Bark's main mast, while Sanji uses a huge chain to keep Oars in place and Zoro using his Sanzen Sekai technique to straighten Oars' back. Chopper explains that the human spine is S-shaped so it can absorb shocks, and straightening it will cause Oars to take much more damage. Luffy descends, activating Gear 3 and hitting Oars directly in the face with his Goma Goma no Gigant Bazooka, shattering Oars' spine. However, their victory is short-lived as Moria arises from Oars' cockpit. After giving the Straw Hats a speech about how the new world is out of their league, he uses his ultimate technique, Shadows Asgard. By absorbing all of his zombies' shadows, including Sindri, Inup, Captain John, Lola, Jigoro, Hilden, Buhashok, Giro, Nin, and Bao, and Oars, he transforms into a giant, deformed version of himself, resembling a lizard or a gecko. As he displays his newfound, destructive power, the pirates realize that they have one more problem at their hands: the sun is rising. As the rolling pirates, minus Lola, run for cover so they do not burn away, Luffy activates Gear 2 in order to combat and defeat Moria's new form. Luffy begins to repeatedly strike at Moria's stomach, causing the latter to lose control of the shadows and release a small number of them. Trying to hold the remaining shadows in, he manages to trap Luffy within a black box made of shadows before crushing it. Emerging from wreckage, Luffy uses all his strength to combine Gear 2 and Gear 3, launching his enlarged body into Moria with the strengths of both forms. The impact of this move causes Thriller Bark's mask to fall on top of Moria, forcing him to spew out all the shadows just as the sun comes out and the Straw Hats start burning away. At the last second the shadows return to the crew, and they are saved. The Rolling Pirates and the Straw Hats celebrate. Absalom is woken up by Dr. Hogback and plan to escape. Other people around the world celebrate as their shadows are returned too. Crocodile, Moria. It turns out that you were beaten up by the Straw Hat too. Then what right do you have to laugh at me? Gecko, Moria, they won by luck. Crocodile, are you stupid? Don Quixote da Flamingo, Phew Furfur. You two idiots stop pecking at each other here. You are both weak, stop arguing. Crocodile, idiot. Gecko, Moria, humph. The celebration is cut short when Kuma appears and is ordered by the world government to revive Moria and eliminate everyone who witnessed his defeat. Kuma takes out a few of the rolling pirates by launching paw-shaped air blasts similar to Rokuagan. He then teleports again and appears in front of the Straw Hats and claims he will start with Zoro. Zoro begins the battle, but Kuma is able to dodge or deflect all of Zoro's attacks with the use of his Devil Fruit ability, the Paw Paw Fruit. Frankie underestimates Kuma's ability and is taken out by one hit from Kuma. Sanji and Usopp enter the fray in order to save Zoro, but their attacks do not faze Kuma at all. Kuma uses his Devil Fruit to compress the air into a paw-shaped balloon, making a small but powerful bomb. Kuma replies that he can let them live if they surrender Luffy to the world government. The Straw Hats and Rolling Pirates simultaneously shout never, and Kuma merely replies, what a pity, and launches the bomb. The blast destroys most of Thriller Bark, though this does not succeed in killing the Straw Hats but knocks out all of them except Zoro. Zoro surprise attacks Kuma, slicing into his shoulder, exposing his pacifista modifications. This attack only proves to irritate the Warlord of the Sea and he easily defeats Zoro. Knowing death was upon him, Zoro offers to trade his life for Luffy's. Then, Sanji appears and asks Kuma to take his life instead of Zoro's. Hearing this, Zoro knocks out Sanji unconscious. Kuma agrees to Zoro's offer and uses his Devil Fruit to project Luffy's pain onto Zoro. Gecko Moria, Kuma, if you help earlier I would not lose. K Sengoku, why would Kuma ignore order like that? He should have taken all the Straw Hate Pirate Sakazuki. This is why we shouldn't believe in this low-life pirate. Can't do such simple order. Pathetic. The screen continue and the now wake up Straw Hate found Zoro standing with injury all over him and Luffy with heal state. Monkey D. Luffy, we have Zoro. Thank you Rorono Zoro. It's my duty to protect the captain. Vinsmoke Sanji, freaking Moss Head, taking all the attention. Trafalgar Law, what a man, so awesome. Jewelry Bonnie, awesome. Capone Big awesome. And then Brook told his backstory to the Straw Hat and told about his promise to a certain whale. The Straw Hate was shocked because they know the whale, and Brook is happy knowing Lapun is still waiting. In the end Brook joined the Straw Hats and sail leaving the Florian Triangle. After leaving the Florian Triangle sea area, the Straw Hats meet Hatchin and a mermaid Cammy, but then Cammy was captured by a Sanji look-alike, so they rescue her. When they came to Sayabadi Archipelago, they meet other Supernova. And in the auction house, where Luffy trying to rescue Cammy, Luffy beat up a Tenryu Obito there, which directly caused a big incident. Marine Admiral Kizaru came to deal with it, and put on a solo performance to dominate the Straw Hate Pirates. Rayleigh appears to help Straw Hat crew fight against Kizaru. In the end Bartholomew Kuma attack everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates. The Straw Hat Pirates are sent away on different islands. Gold Roger, Rayleigh, you are still a busybody. Silver Rayleigh, haha. When I saw the Straw Hat on Luffy's head, I couldn't have just stood by. Shiki, isn't the guy with the book in his hand a Shishibukai? Do you feel that after he made a move, the Straw Hat Pirates were rescued instead? Rox D, Xebec, haha. It's too obvious. Sengoku, look, your friend are so talented. Sengoku, ignorant. That's Bartholomew Kuma from Shishibukai, not Marine. And, there is another reason for him to save the Straw Hat Pirates. Luffy landed on Amazon Lily. When seeing the scene, Hancock was completely dumbfounded. Hashtag, her secret will be known by everyone. After Luffy experienced the adventure of Amazon Lily, Empress Hancock fell madly in love with Luffy, and hid Luffy in her clothes and sent him to the impel down. The scene of Hancock taking a bath did not appear in the screen, which made Hancock's heart calm down. Porgas D. Ace, Luffy, you really shouldn't come to save me. Seeing Luffy break into the impel down alone to save him, Ace's heart is going to break. Monkey D. Luffy, Ace, what are you talking about? You are my brother. I will definitely save you. Sabo, Ace, don't blame Luffy for this, you can only blame me. Luffy went to save you, but I'm still thousands of miles away. Porgas D. Ace, Sabo, you have an amnesia, how can you blame yourself? You shouldn't. The path I choose, and the consequence is my own fault. Sengoku, Hancock, how could you did that? Boa Hancock, I will not refuse what Mr. Luffy asks me to do. Don Quixote da Flamingo, Phew Furfur. Women are interesting creatures. Luffy has entered the impel down, rushing to the 6th level. During the period, he released many heinous pirates and criminals. But Luffy was confronted by Magellan, and was poisoned by him. Luffy then saved by Mr. 2 and went to the 5.5th floor of the prison, where he was cured by Ivankov. Knowing Luffy identity, Ivankov decided to follow Luffy to the 6th level. After reaching the 6th floor, Luffy found that Ace was no longer here, and was sent to Marine headquarters for execution. Luffy released Jinbei and Crocodile, and then met Buggy, MR3 and others, and organized a wave of prison escape. Then just as the group of Luffy began to break through, the Blackbeard Pirates also arrived at the Impel Down. As soon as they met each other, the whole group was instantly confronted by Magellan, the warden of the Impel Down. Afterwards, Shiryu of the Rain appeared, helped the Blackbeard Pirates. Shiryu joined the Blackbeard Pirates, and together they went to the 6th floor at the bottom of the sea and released many legendary pirates. The Blackbeard Pirates became super pirates capable of challenging any force in the sea. Group. Luffy broke through with everyone and met Magellan during the period, but relying on the ability of MR3's Wax Fruit to cooperate with Luffy, he successfully broke through Magellan's blockade. In the end, a large number of pirates escaped from the Impel Down. Luffy and his team snatched a warship and went to Marine headquarters on the other side. The Blackbeard Pirates also went to Marine headquarters on their ship. In addition, some legendary big pirates also took the opportunity to escape, such as Red Earl Redfield, Douglas Bullet, Burndy World, etc. The video and the white border video slowly fades away. The screen disappears. Chapter 127. Chapter 127. Buggy's foreign object splitting practice. Sengoku, damn it. He let out so many criminals from Impel Down. Sakazuki, Straw Hat Luffy. You are death. Tsuru, the reason why Impel Down exists is mainly to prevent those devil fruits with powerful destructive power from being obtained by evil people again. It was impossible to break through there, but because of Luffy's accident, the prison was breached. Borsalino, Jinbei also played a vital role. Sakazuki, anyway, it's all because of the pirates. Pirates should be damned. Ghost Spider, Admiral Sakazuki is right. Doberman, damn pirates. Don Quixote da Flamingo, Furfur. Why do you keep barking? Didn't you find something very interesting? The video on the white bordered screen has been played to us. This moment is now. Gold Roger, if you say it like that, it's really true. Then this screen should be over. Shiki, it's over. Can't wait to turn Marine headquarters upside down. Ha 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 ha. Rox D, Xebec, what? End? No, impossible. I haven't been revived yet. Kaido, forget it. Even if there is another question later, you still can't answer. Charlotte Linland, mama. You are so miserable. Sengoku, damn. Is the big war about to start? Compared to Rox, Sengoku's mood is not much better at this time. The screen with the red border gradually brightens up. The screen appears. Mary and Thousand Sunny sailing on the sea. Compared to Thousand Sunny, Luffy is still more used to staying on Mary. Moreover, the current Mary has been transformed by the jet shell, and it is almost a perpetual motion machine of wind energy, so there is no such thing as a waste of resources. As for the rest of the Straw Hat Pirates, Usopp needs to observe the sea conditions on the lookout tower of the Thousand Sunny. Sanji follows Calipha's as every day Zoro practiced on the Thousand Sunny, because there is a practice room specially built by Frankie on the Thousand Sunny, which is deeply loved by Zoro. Luffy, why did you sail the Mary out during the day? Buggy usually also practices on the deck of the Thousand Sunny, but when he is not practicing, he will go to the Mary. Luffy lay on a recliner and said with a smile, I think if the Mary is kept in the cabin of the Thousand Sunny, she will feel very lonely. Nanny? Buggy had an unbelievable expression and smiled wryly. The ship has no consciousness, how can it be lonely? Ah ha ha. Luffy also laughed at himself. I know it's like this too, but that day when we took the Mary into the cabin of the Thousand Sunny for the first time, I felt that Mary was very scared and lonely. Don't laugh, I know it's a bit stupid to say that, but that's how I really felt at the time, and now, every day, when I go out on the Mary, I can feel her happiness. Also, after sailing for the past few days, I feel more and more that the Mary really has its own mood swings. Luffy laughed. Bastard Buggy, run to Luffy if you have nothing to do. Hurry up and go back to practice on the Thousand Sunny. At this time, Nami came over and threatened. Buggy spread his hands. You've also been going to Luffy's place during the day, how dare you criticize me? Idiot. I have to take care of the orange orchard. Hearing that Buggy actually connoted her, Nami punched Buggy on the head in anger. Buggy split into tiny particles like sand, then quickly flew to the side, and reassembled. He pouted. Everyone told you to move the orange orchard to the Thousand Sunny, which has a sunshed specially suitable for planting. Then why don't you move it? Nami said angrily, I'm afraid that the oranges will be broken when transferring them. Why are you so verbose? Hurry up and practice. Buggy wanted to say something, but saw a series of arms connected from a window on the side of Thousand Sunny, and then saw Robin stepping on the arm ladder and walking over. Robin gave Buggy a blank look. You guys are really incomprehensible. Hurry up and practice, hey? Seeing that Robin was also talking about him, Buggy suddenly froze. Okay, good men don't fight with women. He walks back to Thousand Sunny, stepping on the arm ladder that Robin just made. Thank you, Miss Robin. Nami hugged Robin's arm happily and acted like a baby. Robin smiled. How could she not see Nami's thoughts on Luffy? So she usually helps Nami cover up and create a suitable two-person space for Nami and Luffy. Did you hear that? Suddenly, Luffy jumped up from the reclining chair. What? Nami and Robin showed confusion in their eyes at the same time. Luffy shook his head again, also a little confused. Oh, maybe it's because I didn't sleep well last night. Okay, I won't bother you anymore. I'm going to practice Haki too. Since officially becoming a partner of the Straw Hat Pirates, Robin has worked harder in training. As a member of the Straw Hat Pirates, she is very worried that when danger comes one day, she will not be able to help everyone. I'll see if the oranges are ripe. Nami went to the back deck. Luffy rubbed his eyes, then lay down on the recliner, but the moment he just lay down, he bounced up again. He suddenly looked around, looking around. When his gaze swept across the mast of the Mary, he suddenly froze there. Found it. Under the sun, a petite figure wearing a goose-yellow raincoat and rain boots is sitting on the crossbar of the mast, with his two calves swinging happily. The moment he saw this petite figure, the petite figure was also looking at Luffy. Luffy's eyes instantly burst into deep shock, because when he saw the happy arc on the corners of the mouth of this petite figure, he also felt the happy mood swings expressed by the Mary. This kind of happy mood swing far exceeds the level he felt on the Mary any time before. It's the Mary. Although the matter in front of me is too outrageous, Luffy can be sure that this petite figure in a goose-yellow raincoat is definitely the source of Molly's emotions. You are the Mary? Luffy asked subconsciously. Then the ship spirit didn't respond in any words, but seemed to be extremely excited and happy about it. Can't understand people's words? Luffy was a little surprised, and then tried to wave at the ship spirit. Then he saw that petite figure on the mast suddenly disappeared. Ah! Luffy was startled, but then, in front of him, the ship spirit appeared out of thin air. Without any restraint or shyness, the ship spirit threw herself into Luffy's arms. Luffy subconsciously hugged the ship spirit, and saw the ship spirit leaning his little face on Luffy's chest, with a satisfied expression on his face at the same time. Luffy could clearly feel the mood swings on the Mary. Happy. Yes, this is a super happy mood. God. When Luffy reacted, he fully realized how outrageous this matter is. No wonder he felt the emotions of the Mary many times before. He thought he had some kind of hallucinatory mental disorder, but he didn't expect it to be true. Luffy excitedly hugged little Mary to find Nami. Nami was also scared silly. However, when she stretched out her hand to hug little Mary, she found that her hand went directly through Mary. Nami's face darkened, and she said depressedly, "Ah, why can't I touch her? Ha ha, I don't know either. But I can." Luffy laughed loudly, and tossed little Mary a few times. Afterwards, Luffy told the news to his partners. Everyone was shocked, only Frankie stared out his eyes. Oh my god. This is the legendary ship spirit. Ship spirit. The partners all looked at Frankie with a confused face. Frankie immediately told everyone about the ship spirit. It's only now that everyone understands how outrageous this light yellow petite figure is. You guys have to know that ship spirits only exist in legends. So far, no ship has been recorded as having a ship spirit, and our Mary is the only one, Frankie said in shock. But, why only Luffy can hug her, but we can't? Sanji asked, very depressed. Zoro curled his lips. Could it be because you, a perverted cook, are so perverted that the ship spirits are afraid of you? Sanji suddenly became furious. Fart. Can you touch her? Zoro shook his head. Who said that? I haven't touched her so far. How do you know I can't? Then go touch her now. Sanji pulled Zoro and walked towards Luffy. I don't want to. Zoro shook off Sanji's hand and said disdainfully, as long as I don't touch her, you can't prove that I can't touch her. At this point, I am currently ahead of you. Ahahas. At this time, Frankie explained to everyone the ship spirit can only be seen by someone recognized by this ship. As for wanting to meet her, there is no record of this, either because Luffy is the captain, or is it because Luffy has the deepest bond with this ship? In short, this must require a very harsh condition. At this moment, there was a violent explosion outside. Then, the blazing light shines brightly outside the window. What happened? Everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates rushed out. When they came to the deck, they saw the cleaning crew trio looking at an empty treasure chest in front of them with a dazed expression. What happened? Sanji rushed up and looked around Califa nervously. Is Miss Califa injured? Seeing Luffy and others coming, Lucci spread his hands. Just now we found a treasure chest floating on the sea surface, on which was written a tribute to the sea god, so we salvaged it. As a result, when I opened it, it turned out to be a signal flare. If I'm not mistaken, someone in this fog may be monitoring us. Although it seems that he got into trouble, Lucci still has the courage to take responsibility, and quickly analyzed the possibility. Luffy looked at the wooden barrel treasure chest, and saw that the words Sea God's Royal Treasure were indeed written on it. At first glance, he would indeed think that it was a treasure paid to Sea God by someone else. Obviously, this was done on purpose. Well, your analysis is correct, but if it's a group of pirates, that's not bad. The Sabayati archipelago has a marine base and we just so happen to be in need of some money, Luffy said. What? Hearing what Luffy said, the trio of cleaners were stunned. Catch a pirate. Keiku widened his eyes and said in shock. Luffy shrugged his shoulders. Just making money, by the way, is it worth the fuss? The trio of cleaners are humble and don't dare to say anything, just feel speechless. Pirates catch pirates for bounty? It's the first time they've heard of it. As you get deeper and deeper into the Florian Triangle Sea area, the fog on the sea surface is getting thicker because of poor visibility. Luffy temporarily drove the Mary into the cabin. On deck, Buggy is standing with a piece of wood. Looks like nothing is done, but if you look closely, this piece of wood has been vibrating slightly. It's really close, it's close. Buggy shakes his head depressedly. Since seeing Luffy's Devil Fruit awakening in Little Garden, Buggy has a new goal for developing Devil Fruit. Everyone is Paramecia Devil Fruit. Since Luffy's rubber fruit can be awakened, can't his Split Fruit be awakened? After coming out of Little Garden, Buggy has been practicing active splitting over and over again, while trying to split external objects. He has done experiments with many things and found that the inorganic matter can respond to his splitting ability, but the organic matter has almost no response to its splitting ability. That's why Buggy focused on training this splitting ability on inorganic matter. The reason for using wood for training is not that there is anything special about this piece of wood, but because Buggy used this piece of wood for the first time to practice with inorganic substances. Obviously I already feel it, but it's always a little bit worse, damn it. Even if I can't keep up with Luffy, I will be leave by him. Come again. I must awaken. Chapter 128 Chapter 128 Call Chopper, let's dissect the skeleton. Little Mary, wow. I over there have already awakened to this extent? Seeing that the red border Luffy's ship, the Mary, can already actively communicate with Luffy, little Mary herself was stunned. Although it is still not possible to communicate with words, it is only an interaction in terms of emotional fluctuations, but this is already enough to make Mary shocked. Monkey D. Luffy, Frankie, what's the situation with little Mary over there? Is it because of the bond? Frankie, I don't know either. It's impossible for anyone to know about this situation, but if you let me guess, it's because Red Luffy bond. Nami, it's not fair that only Red Border Luffy can touch her. Nico Robin, hehehe. Red Border Luffy cherishes the Mary. It is reasonable for little Mary to respond to him. Gold Roger, little Buggy is the most shocking honor. If I'm not mistaken, his situation is a sign before awakening. Shanks, really? Is Buggy's devil fruit over there about to awaken? Is there any devil fruit user from Paramecia that already awakened? Can you explain it? Don Quixote da Flamingo, it should be. I remember the time before my devil fruit awakened, I could always feel that I seemed to be able to transform other substances into threads. Until the moment I fully awakened, can really transform other substances into string. Buggy, Nanny. That's it, I'm really going to awaken my devil fruit over there. Edward Newgate, it's outrageous. If the split fruit is awakened, wouldn't it be able to split other things? And the Buggy over there has already trained the active split to the extent that it can be split into the same size as sand, then once he awakens successfully, wouldn't he be able to split any inorganic matter into the size of sand? Monkey D. Luffy, sounds like a very powerful power. Marco, yeah, this must be very powerful. If you meet him at sea, the enemy ship will directly turn into sand-like pieces, and you won't even have time to surrender. Hearing Marco's explanation, many people who didn't understand before realized how terrible the split fruit would be once awakened. Buggy, it seems that I have to learn my training method over there, and try to awaken my devil fruit too. Gold Roger, wow haha. Great, little Buggy, you will definitely awaken it. Buggy has been practicing for a while, and was about to go back to the room to take a rest. Suddenly he frowned, and immediately looked at Califa on the deck. At this time, Califa is bending over and rubbing against the railing, her buttocks pouted. Buggy's fingertips suddenly caught several daggers. Swipe. Brush. His two palms were separated from his body in an instant, and he was carrying 6 sharp daggers, and he shot towards Califa's but like a wolf. Puff. Just when the 2 daggers came to about 1 meter behind Califa, they were inserted into an invisible object. There was a miserable cry in the air all of a sudden, and Buggy controlled his hands, swung the invisible thing in a circle, and then nailed it hard to the deck. This sudden scream made Califa startled all of a sudden. She was cleaning the railing seriously, but suddenly there was a strange scream from her. Lucci and Keiku also looked over immediately. What's going on? Then in their shocked eyes, they saw a strange figure appearing on the ground of this deck. Looks like a human, but also looks like a lion. What is this? Lucci frowned. Buggy walked up to Absalom, looked down at him, and asked coldly, what are you? Damn it. It shouldn't be. How did you find me? While Absalom is in pain, his eyes are full of confusion. As a user of the transparent fruit, he has tasted many women in the sea area, and he can succeed every time. Just now he saw that the signal flare they used as bait was opened, and he rushed over immediately. Absalom couldn't bear it when he saw a beautiful woman on the deck. It turned out that he didn't expect that before he succeeded, he was nailed to the ground by a dagger. At this time, Luffy also came. His observation haki is the strongest, so when he sensed the movement outside, he came out immediately. What's going on? Luffy asked directly. Buggy pointed to Absalom lying on the ground. I was practicing just now, and suddenly observation haki noticed an invisible person walking behind Califa, and I directly nailed him to the ground with a dagger. Luffy looked at Absalom, and immediately revealed a disgusted expression. This guy has already taken off his pants. Reminiscent of what Buggy said, he immediately understood. Suddenly, Luffy said contemptuously, this bastard is a user with transparent fruit ability. How dare you use your devil fruit ability to do such a lowly thing? Buggy, cut him off. Buggy was also not polite, and directly came to Absalom with a dagger. Wait, what are you going to do? Hey, I'm a cotter of Shishibukai Moria. Do you want to offend Moria? Absalom yelled in horror when he heard that others were going to kill him. Of course, he's not particularly scared. After all, there is the miracle Dr. Hogback. No matter where his body is cut, the doctor can fix him. Moria? Ha ha ha. Why should we give him face? Hearing this, Buggy laughed silly. He saw Luffy kill Crocodile with 1 blow. Although the reward for this Moria is not low, but in terms power, Moria's strength is not as good as Crocodile. When this guy comes in front of Luffy, I think Luffy will stare at him, and he will feel bad. Brush. Buggy was too lazy to talk nonsense, so he directly raised the dagger and cut off Absalom. Then he looked at Luffy, how to deal with him. This kind of rubbish, throw him into the sea. Luffy said with disgust. Nanny. Hearing what Luffy said, Absalom suddenly screamed. If they just cut him off, he doesn't care. But if they throw him into the sea, he will sink directly to the bottom of the sea, then there will be nothing. He hurriedly begged for mercy in horror. Don't throw me into the sea. I'll do anything. Ladies and gentlemen, please forgive me. Luffy waved his hand. Forgiveness? Throw him away, it's disgusting to look at him. Buggy controlled two palms hanging in the air to swipe them back, and the dagger was pulled out from Absalom's body. As a result, Absalom immediately lost his support and fell into the sea. Really? How can there be such a disgusting guy? Hearing that Absalom was thrown into the sea, Khalifa turned around, her cheeks were still flushed with lingering anger. She looks at Luffy. Thank you, Captain. Thank me for what? Thank Buggy. If it weren't for Buggy, you would have lost your virginity now. Luffy pouted towards Buggy. Hearing this, Khalifa said seriously to Buggy, thank you, Senior Buggy. Stop talking nonsense. Luffy, taking you in doesn't mean I approve of you. You were able to go undercover in the capital of Water 7 before, and now you can also go undercover in our Straw Hat Pirates, but if I find out that you have any bad intentions, I will tear you apart without hesitation. For the beauty's thanks, Buggy doesn't appreciate it at all. Yes, Senior Buggy. Khalifa bowed his head and stopped arguing. Luffy is very satisfied with Buggy's vigilance. The reason why he only let Frankie and Usopp know about the undercover director is to make other partners not take it lightly. As long as everyone doesn't know that this incident was directed by Luffy, they can't be too lax about this trio of cleaners. Vinsmoke Sanji, good. This is too much. Good for him to die. Thinking of what Absalom did to Nami and Robin back then, Sanji wished he could kill Absalom 1,000 times. Nami, this change is too much, he deserve it. Robin, when I think about what happened, I feel sick. Frankie, yeah, that bastard. The red border Luffy over there is really fast and resolute. Usopp, good. Gecko Moria, damn. Killed Absalom. I don't know what will happen to me over there. Don Quixote da Flamingo, that's a question? You will be dead too. Phew fur. The cleaning on the deck is almost done. Luffy asked the cleaning crew trio to rest for a while. Buggy, how is your practice of controlling the splitting of external objects going? Luffy asked. Buggy demonstrated to Luffy. Luffy told Buggy about his experience when he awakened his devil fruit, and Buggy kept nodding, listening very seriously. Luffy then approached Lucy and Luffy asked directly, are you sure what you taught me about the iron body ability is true? Of course it's true. Lucci frowned slightly. Yes, the other 5 are fine, and it is impossible to lie to me about iron body alone. Luffy shook his head, then laughed. But the iron body ability is really stupid. In terms of defense, it is not as good as armament haki, and you can't move. It's like a fool to practice this thing. Forget it, I'll only practice the other 5. At this moment, a broken ship suddenly appeared in the fog ahead of. Khalifa was the first to scream, attract others to look at it immediately. With just one glance, all the hairs stand on end immediately. Are you kidding me? Lucci's pupils condensed fiercely, staring at the broken ship deck ahead. Keiko also opened his mouth wide in astonishment. Skeleton. Am I hallucinating? I saw a living skeleton. No, it's not a hallucination, because I saw it too. Buggy took a deep breath, and his forehead was also sweating. No matter how strong the strong are, they are still in the category of humans after all. However, if encountering something beyond the scope of human beings, even the strong will feel fear. Binks whined, do you want to taste on the lifeless broken ship ahead? A skull is singing. Frankie, ha ha ha. They were so scared when they saw Brook for the first time. Roronoa Zoro, of course. No one has ever seen a living skeleton. Tony Chopper, Usopp and I were freaked out. Usopp, yeah. I keep the cross in my hand. Nami, haha. I was so scared that tears came out. Edward Newgate, when I saw the skeleton for the first time in the white border video just now, I was really shocked. What a hell. Luffy also saw this kind of scene for the first time, not only felt that his hairs were bursting. Luffy, what should we do? Nami's voice trembled a little. I don't know either. But is there really a living skeleton here? The corner of Luffy's mouth twitched. However, it is true or false, you'll have to make sure. Thinking of this, Luffy released Conqueror's Haki without saying a word. Boom! An incomparable and powerful power instantly condensed into a precise thin line, and fell on Brook in an instant. Brook rolled his eyes, fell to the ground neatly, and the teacup in his hand went into the sea. Usopp, PFFFF, ha ha ha, Roronoa Zoro, okay. IHE got the red border Luffy's Conqueror's Haki, and I'm sure he's going to board the ship. Frankie, it seems that my luck is still good. It seems that I am the only one who missed the Luffy Conqueror's Haki. Brook, it's too fast. I was blown away as soon as I receive it. Vinsmoke Sanji, haha. Shocking fast, closing fast. Nami, Conqueror's partner package really lives up to its name, huh? Conquerors is also useful for skeletons? Luffy just had the attitude of giving it a try, but I didn't expect it to be really successful. Lucci, Keiko, and Khalifa next to each other were shocked at the same time. Although Luffy's Conqueror's Haki was not aimed at them just now, they clearly felt the coercion from the Conqueror's Haki. Unmistakable. This is the Conqueror's Haki that only appears to 1 in a million people. Although they don't have Conqueror's Haki, the knowledge of Conqueror's Haki as CP9 agent is their necessary knowledge. From what Luffy leaked just now, it can be judged that Luffy's Conqueror's Haki is ridiculously strong at this time. Luffy's arm stretched out, reaching directly to the deck of the dead ship in front. Out of caution, Luffy wraps his arms around Armament Haki and Conqueror's Haki, grabs the fainted Brook and takes it back. Luffy threw Brook to the ground, and then shouted, call Chopper, dissect this skeleton. Chapter 129. Chapter 129. Why is the sea area changing too much? Brook, Nanny. Frankie, haha. Dissecting the skeleton? Usopp, you're so ridiculous. I'm afraid Chopper will faint from fright when he comes over. Tony Chopper, that's for sure. But can skeletons be dissected too? Roronoa Zoro, if you can't dissect, then open the skull dash. When they saw the red border Luffy, his first reaction was to call for someone to dissect the skeleton, and everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates laughed from ear to ear at this thing. How does it seem to be alive? Lucci walked closer and saw Brook twitching nonstop. With an unbelievable expression on his face, Califa pushed the purple-framed glasses, opened his mouth. Isn't it like, he seems to be alive? Soon, everyone from the Straw Hat Pirates came out of the cabin when they saw a skeleton lying on the ground. They all showed emotions. Chopper, please dissect it and see if this thing is a real species? Luffy stretched out his hand to pull Chopper while talking. Chopper was so frightened that his nose burst into tears. I don't want it. Don't let me get close to it. Zoro was not afraid. He directly forced his sword to Brook's neck, threatening, hey, tell me, what the hell are you? Or I'll cut you off. That's right. Cut him off if he doesn't say anything. This skeleton is not serious at first glance. Sanji also cheered from the side. Usopp said, this thing is actually quite tough. It's so hard that it doesn't say a word. Better die than surrender? Zoro looked up at Luffy, apparently waiting for Luffy's opinion. Luffy frowned. We heard him sing before, but now he doesn't say a word. Maybe it's a summoning puppet manipulated by other devil fruit user? Zoro tried chop off his head. Good. Zoro doesn't even wing, so he's going to do it right away. But at this moment, Lucci said in a deep voice, didn't he get shocked by your conqueror's haki? Maybe he is alive? Everyone is stunned. What else is there? Generally, after being stunned by conqueror's haki, people will turn pale, foam at the mouth, and tremble non-stop. But the guy in front of them is covered in bones except for his hair, and he can't see any body language or facial expressions at all. Luffy scratched his head. I was only thinking about dissection, and I forgot that I used conquerors to stun him. Usopp poured a bucket of water on the skeleton's face. Brook woke up. He quickly shouted, I'm a human, it's my devil fruit power. Don't cut off my head, I'm going to die. Although he couldn't speak just now, Brook still heard what Luffy and Zoro said. If someone hadn't wake him, he would have died inexplicably. As soon as he regained his ability to speak, he quickly shouted, Devil fruit power. Zoro looked at it curiously, and asked suspiciously, what is devil fruit? Skeleton fruit? No. I ate the revive fruit. I was originally human but died and got revived. Brook hurriedly talked about his past, from the beginning to the end. Actually, when he first met the Thousand Sunny, he wanted to pretend to be aggressive, keep a sense of mystery, and take a look at the living people on the way. But what he never expected was that he just wanted to pretend to be a force, but he was directly carried over by others, and he was about to be dissected and beheaded. He's afraid that if he doesn't explain the matter quickly now, he will die inexplicably if he doesn't make it right. Wait, you just said, what was the name of the pirate group you used to be in? Suddenly, Luffy noticed a key word and interrupted Brook's narration. Seeing that Luffy seems to be very concerned about the name of his pirate group, Brook felt a little flustered, and stammered, Rumber Pirates. What? When they heard that Brook confirmed the name, Luffy, Zoro, Buggy, Usopp, Nami and Sanji suddenly widened their eyes, and their eyes were full of horror. What's going on? Robin frowned suspiciously, his face extremely bewildered. Chopper too is confused. Frankie is also puzzled. He said that the pirate group was wiped out 50 years ago. You guys, even Buggy, have not been alive yet. Is there a problem? Brook actually didn't know what to do in his heart, and watched the Straw Hat Pirates carefully. Sanji suddenly asked loudly, did you bring a fish from West Blue to Grand Line? Don't reveal any more information. Luffy immediately interrupted Sanji, but asked Brook, what kind of fish is it? Sea carp? Sea yellow croaker? Or kelp fish? Also, what's the name of that fish? Usopp, sea carp? Sea yellow croaker? Kelp fish? Roronoa Zoro, red border Luffy asked that on purpose. Nami, yes. If Sanji took the initiative to say Laboon's name, then it is impossible to judge whether Brook really knows the existence of Laboon. In case Brook is just a certain pirate group that once fought against the Rumber Pirates. Brook, Nami actually doubts me. I don't want to live. Nami, That's right, I found out. Frankie, Hearing the option given by Luffy, Brook was taken aback. What is it? However, after all, he is an old antique who has lived for several years, and soon realized what Luffy meant, so he said, you are trying to test me, but there is nothing wrong with that. If you are really asking about the Rumber Pirates 50 years ago, then my answer is, Laboon is a whale. Wow. Really? When hearing this answer, Usopp, Nami and others all showed surprised eyes. There is one last question. Luffy still looked calm. He stared at Brook and said calmly, what promise did you make with Laboon? At the moment of saying this, Luffy immediately released observation haki to the maximum extent. Although Brook is not breathing, under the perception of the top observation haki, his emotions can still be more or less perceived by Luffy. Luffy's words are still testing Brook. Although the name of Laboon can prove Brook's identity to a large extent, but Luffy is the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates after all. He is responsible for the crew, so he is a little cautious. What promise did I make with Laboon? When he first heard this question, Brook was forced a bit, but then, he said in amazement, hey, how do you know what agreement I made with Laboon? Luffy shrugged, yeah, you passed the test. Hearing Luffy say this, Brook suddenly realized, I just realized it. Your question just now is also testing me. So, do you belong to a human race or a ghost now? Nami asked cautiously while hiding behind Luffy. Beautiful lady, can you show me your underpants? Brook blurted out, Nanny. Nami's expression froze. Then, boom. The fist that covered armament Haki landed on Brook's head without hesitation. A bunch of candied Haas-like swellings appeared on the skull of the skull. Brook got up from the ground dizzily, and looked at Khalifa again. Beautiful girl. Before he finished speaking, Khalifa's whirlwind legs fell on Brook's face like raindrops. Why is there so many pervert in this sea? After finishing work, Khalifa did not tidy up her clothes. Luffy, I think it's better to throw this guy into the sea too? Buggy suggested at this time. Luffy nodded. I think that will work. Hearing this, Brook, with a bruised nose and a swollen face, quickly got up. Hey, I was just joking. Ah ha ha. We were joking too. Luffy laughed, and then announced, I didn't expect that we could find the only remaining partner for Laboon. Today is a good day, and we will have a banquet later. Yeah, everyone was overjoyed when they heard it. Only the corners of the mouths of the cleaners trio twitch. Just finished cleaning, it's going to be dirty again. This is our promise to a certain left-behind child. It is a great joy. The three of you will join us later. Luffy looked at the three of Lucci and said calmly, not long. Bonfire, barbecue, fine wine, everything is available. The deck banquet starts. Please allow me to bring you a song. Binks wine. Yo ho 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 ho. Brook held a cane and sword, and sang while playing the melody when he was having fun. Brook also performed a craniotomy show for everyone. It caused everyone to applaud. Then, Brook talked about how they came from West Blue, brought Laboon into the Grand Line, and how they were wiped out by other pirates in the Florian Triangle. Luffy also shared the experience of meeting Laboon and the agreement between Luffy and Laboon with Brook. The three of CP9 over there acted as the best melon-eating trio throughout the whole process. Barbecue and fine wine were stuffed into their mouths. You are still alive. Laboon must be very happy. Luffy is showing off the barbecue, while looking at Brook. What are you going to do next? Go back to find Laboon by yourself, or you want to join us? Let's go to see Laboon together? Because it is very close to the Sabayati archipelago, and the Grand Line has already gone halfway. If Brook is sent back to Reverse Mountain at this time, then this going back and forth is equivalent to sailing the distance of a Grand Line. A fool would not do that. So now there are two options before Brook. One is to get a lifeboat from Luffy and the others, and sail back by himself. The other is to follow Luffy and the others through the rest of the journey, and then go to meet Laboon together. After all, Luffy also made an agreement with Laboon. No matter whether he find it or not the members of the Rumba Pirates, he will go back and complete the agreement with Laboon. Hearing what Luffy said, Brook felt awkward. He shook his head. I can't choose either of these two options. In fact, I can spend at most one more day with you, and I have to leave. Going forward, I will be out of the fog. What? You don't want to go back and see Laboon? What do you mean? Why can't you follow if with no fog? Are you really a ghost in the fog? Do you have any secrets to hide? Are you worried that we will sell you as a rare creature? Hearing that Brook didn't want to leave the fog, everyone was confused. Brook quickly explained to everyone, no, everyone misunderstood me. It's not that I don't want to leave the mist, or as soon as I leave the mist, if the sun shines on me, I will instantly turn into ashes and die. Frankie scratched his head. Nanny? What does this mean? Is it the curse brought by the resurrection of the revive fruit? Devil fruit is extremely mysterious, and there are some special curses and side effects that special devil fruit will indeed have. Lucci ate the devil a long time ago fruit, so he will hear more about devil fruit. No. My power and my inability to get out of the fog are two unrelated things. Brook shook his head, and continued, in this mist, there is a place called Ghost Island, which is the territory of Shishibukai Gecko Moria. I was once strayed into it, and he took away my shadow. So once I was exposed to the sun, I would immediately be wiped out. Shishibukai can take people's shadows? Luffy frowned. Buggy explained, it turned out to be Gecko Moria. He is a person with the ability of the shadow fruit. He can indeed take away the shadow of people. Hearing this, Luffy nodded, and then said, then let's go and get your shadow back. Since that place is in this fog, it definitely doesn't take much time. It's just a slight detour. It's not a big deal. But when Brook heard this, he immediately shook his head. No. I cherish our short-lived friendship very much, and I must not drag you down. My shadow will be taken away by myself. I will came back and took it back. I am very happy with today's meal. Everyone, I hope we will meet later. Speaking, Brook jumped directly into the sea. Hello, everyone exclaimed quickly. A devil fruit user jumps into the sea. Isn't that courting death? Chapter 130. Chapter 130. They are professionals. Everyone exclaimed and rushed to the railing, then saw Brook running on the sea surface, and said while running, yo ho ho, don't worry about me, my body is full of bones and very light, so as long as I keep running, I won't sink. It's a pleasure to get along with everyone, and hope we meet again. Speaking, Brook turned his head and ran into the mist. Goma no catch. Luffy's right hand shot out immediately. Whoosh. When Luffy withdrew his right hand, Brook sat on the deck with a dazed expression. He looked around in a daze, and then said with a confused face, I'm back again. Ha ha. Everyone burst into laughter when they saw Brook's reaction. Stupid. You almost missed the chance to be rescue. Zoro said calmly. Brook shook his head straight. No. You don't understand how troublesome Moria's fruit ability is. Don't be confident, but once you step into the Ghost Island, you will also end up in the same fate as me. Frankie laughed loudly. Hey, you may think highly of Shishibukai. Pirates of that level are not very different from the little ones in front of our captain. Usopp proudly said, yeah, it's just Shishibukai, and it's not we haven't deal with one. When we were in Alabasta, we killed one. Take us to see Moria, and we'll kill the second one for you to see. Impossible. I don't want to be responsible for your death. Brook's attitude is very firm. Everyone is speechless when they see that Brook is so determined. No way. Seeing that Brook insists on this, Luffy is no longer persistent, so he looks at Usopp. Okay. Handcuff him with sea stone handcuffs first, and then release him after we eliminate Moria. Good. Usopp takes the sea stone from him and walks towards Brook. I won't be caught without a fight. Brook immediately wanted to escape. Fart cannon. One Usopp's left and right palms patted Brook at the same time. The palm of the left hand is a flavor shell, spouting long-stored farts. The palm of the right hand is the breath shell, and what is blown out is the wind. With the mutual assistance of the two, it becomes a fart cannon that condenses into a straight line. Brook suddenly felt dizzy and froze immediately. Usopp took out the sea stone handcuffs, leaned Brook up slowly, and then put the other handcuffs on Brook's hand. Gol D Roger, ha 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 ha. This kid is really talented. Urage, it's outrageous. Can the flavor shell and wind shell still be used like this? This is too bad. Frankie, ha ha ha. Our Usopp can do this too. Vinsmoke Sanji, of course, the two of them are one person. It's just that they have different experiences. Crocodile, look at the situation over there. It's time for Moria to join me over there. Gecko Moria, damn straw hat. He really is a bastard. Don Quixote da Flamingo, phew furfur. You here are just beaten up, but you over there will die. Gecko Moria, ha. Everyone's fate is not guaranteed. Dracule my hawk, do you believe that yourself? Gecko Moria, when they saw how Usopp subdued Brook, all the crewmates around were stunned. Damn it. It's too bad. Which way are we going to find Moria now? Frankie asked. Luffy smiled, no need to look for it. Didn't we meet several treasure chests along the way just now? Let's go back and open a random one and Moria will come. Nami's eyes lit up. That's right. Since the biggest boss in the sea area is Gecko Moria, he must have sent people to those decoys. Califa remembered something, and immediately showed an expression. It seems that the disgusting thing that is not a human, a lion just now was Moria's subordinate. People are not people, lions are not lions? Hey, are you talking about a guy who looks like a lion, a transparent person who ate a transparent fruit? Hearing Califa's description, Brook immediately asked. Buggy nodded. Yes, that's the pervert. What, did you meet Absalom? What happened? That guy's fruit ability has grown tremendously. Brook asked venomously. Buggy curled her lips. He just got on our ship and tried to do bad things, but I caught him. Then he was thrown into the sea to fed the fish nanny. Brook was dumbfounded. Is that a lie? That guy is a user of the transparent fruit. How could he be discovered as soon as he got on the ship? Nami asked impatiently. Don't be surprised. Do you know any other notable pirate under Gecko Moria? Yes. Gecko Moria has 3 cotters under his command, namely Absalom, the invisible fruit user, Perona, the ghost fruit ability user, and a corpse suture named Dr. Hogback. Brook told what he knew. Hogback. Hearing this name, Chopper suddenly widened his eyes. Could it be the genius doctor who used miraculous operations to save many intractable diseases? Brook nodded. Yes, that's him. Wow, it's him. He's a super smart doctor. Confirmed by Brook, Chopper eyes were full of admiration. Luffy asked suspiciously. Wait, Brook, you seem to say that he is a cadaver suturing doctor just now? What's going on? Brook explained. As far as I know, he used to be a very powerful doctor, but now he is a cotter under Gecko Moria, specializing in stitching various corpses for Moria, and then Moria stuffed the shadows he got into these corpses. In this way, he has a large number of zombie soldiers and zombie generals. Hearing this, Chopper suddenly exclaimed loudly. How could he desecrate those corpses like that? As an admirer of Hogback, Chopper feels disillusioned at this moment. Don't be sad because that kind of rotten person is not worth it. Nami held Chopper's little head and made a model. Although his medical skills are very good, but his character is bad. Such a person is not worthy of being a doctor. You said he created a large number of zombie soldiers and zombie generals? Luffy caught some information in Brook's words, and his pupils narrowed slightly. Then, according to what you just said, wouldn't it be that many people were attacked by him? Brook replied, yes. In this Florian Triangle Sea area, many pirate groups have been murdered by him. On Ghost Island, there is a foggy forest, where the fog is so heavy that you can't see the sun all year round. There is hundreds of guys who have lost their shadows that hide there. Luffy was taken aback for a moment, and then a strange expression appeared on his face. You mean, there are a few hundred of pirates gathered there, right? Yeah, they were all taken away by Moria, and they would die if they hit the sun. They can only hide in that forest. They are very pitiful, Brook said earnestly. Confirmed the news, Luffy was overjoyed. He clapped his hands heavily and laughed happily. Got rich. Gol D Roger, nanny? This guy actually thought of getting rich? Ha ha ha. Rocksteed Xebec. If this kid fights a little harder, he will catch all the Emperor like Whitebeard, Linlin, and Kaido. Edward Newgate Gururarara. Rocks, when will you be resurrected? Charlotte Linlin. Yeah, Captain Rocks, resurrected? Ha 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 ha. Kaido, catch us all? Don't dream. You first ask Marine if they can come up with the money. Sengoku. Luffy over there is himself a pirate. How can we give him money? Gol D Roger, you don't need to worry about that. The Luffy kid over there has his own way to withdraw money. Shanks, haha, yeah, get rich. Nami also laughed loudly. Her bright eyes kept shining with the luster of belly. Buggy silently estimated. This is the grand line. The pirates who can appear here, at least have 5 million belly or more. If there are hundreds of pirates, it is estimated that there will be at least a week and get 500 million or more. Hearing this number, the partners of the Straw Hat Pirates were all excited. Even if it's not to get back Brook's shadow, they must go to Ghost Island. And there is a marine branch in Sabayati Archipelago. Because that place is the necessary way to go to the New World, the marine base branch there has a lot of money in stock. Maybe it will be able to use to take the debt. The Marino that CP9 is dumbfounded by the three of them before they heard Luffy mention the matter of catching pirates for bounty. They thought it was incredible, and now that this thing is about to happen, they are even more shocked. At this time, Brook became anxious. Hey, those guys are poor people too. And some of them are just cooks or handymen on the ship, not all of them are guilty. Don't worry, we have a full set of bounty records here. As long as there is no bounty on the guy, or the crime of the bounty is unwarranted, we will not exchange them for the bounty. Nami took out the bounty booklet and clapped it in his hand. Shoot, sure enough, professional. The CP9 trio was stunned. Thousand Sunny sail back towards the fog. Accompanied by a burst of signal flares, the fireworks are played in the air, illuminated in the fog. Afterwards, Thousand Sunny stopped at the same spot and waited. Sure enough, in less than an hour, an island was slowly approaching them. It's coming. Observation Haki sensed an island with a wall approaching. Luffy took the intercom and said, adjust the main gun and blast this broken wall. No problem. In the control room, Frankie received the order. Then he issued an order to another intercom bug. Attention, the main gunner. The captain has issued the orders, attack the front wall. Yes. Kiwi quickly operated the artillery interface. Large caliber shells fell on the wall in front, immediately blasting the wall to open an intersection. Soon, Thousand Sunny entered through this gap, and then docked. However, Luffy's observation Haki has already noticed that this island is actually a huge pirate ship, but it doesn't matter. Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Brook, and Lucci disembark, and the others stay on board. The reason for bringing Lucci is because this guy is not considered his own, but also has certain strength, so he is a qualified pathfinder. Suddenly a hand came out from the ground and grabbed Nami's feet, and Nami jumped directly onto Luffy's body in fright brush. Zoro blade flashed, and the zombie that emerged from the ground was always chopped into several pieces. This thing isn't dead yet. Suddenly seeing the broken zombies continue to crawl towards them, Zoro frowned. Brook explained, yes, these zombies are inanimate, so they won't die, but salt and sea water can solve it. Luffy frowned. Then why didn't you say it earlier? It's okay, I just asked Usopp for a shellfish filled with seawater. Brook opens his own skull and takes a shell from it. When everyone saw this, the corners of their mouths twitched in silence. Brook pointed the mouth of the water shell at the mouth of the zombie, and then sprayed out a stream of seawater. The zombie stopped immediately, and then saw a shadow floating out of his body, heading in a certain direction. Where will that shadow go? Nami asked curiously. Brook said, that's the direction of the foggy forest. The owner of this shadow should be hiding there. When the shadow is shot out of the zombie, it will return to their owner's body by itself. Luffy nodded, I see. Then let's find their zombie, and release all the shadows. You really have a kind heart, Brook said excitedly. Luffy gave Brook a strange look. I mean, if they don't have shadows, we can't get them to Marine Base. Brook, the best light novels are waiting for you here. Don't miss out. Subscribe on Infinite Novel now. Chapter 131. Chapter 131. Slippery Ghosts. The biggest joke in the world. Led by Brook, a group of people came to the cemetery very quickly. Zombie soldiers are constantly emerging from the ground. Zoro is in charge of cutting them one by one. Brook is in charge of spitting water into these zombies. Orderly one after another. Shadows floated away from the graveyard, towards the side of the foggy forest. Afterwards, the group continued to walk in the direction of the ghost castle. I really deserve to die. Suddenly, Lucci, who was walking in the front, let out a moaning sound, and then lay down on the ground. What's going on? Zoro immediately drew his swords out of their sheaths, looking with sharp eyes. Wow, it's a ghost. Nami shocked and jumped on Luffy. Brush. A sword light flickered, and Zoro's figure appeared behind this ghost. Why did I appear here? I'm such a humble bug. Zoro lay on the ground, buried his face on the ground, and did not forget to cover his face with the dirt on both sides. At this time, the ghost floating in the sky flew towards Luffy. Luffy frowned, stepped on his feet several times in an instant. Sora, there is still a Nami on his body. Luffy immediately teleported to another place. Not good. It's one of Gecko Moria Cotter, Perona, who is here. Brook reminded immediately when he saw this scene. But the next moment, a negative ghost passed through his body. I reflect, I don't deserve to live in this world. Brook lay on the ground, and looked at the sky with empty eyes. And then the two negative ghosts floated towards Luffy at the same time. Luffy encountered this ability for the first time, was very cautious and kept changing his position with Saru. He. There was a burst of strange laughter from the empty place, which immediately attracted the eyes of Luffy and Nami. They saw a girl wearing a crown and pink double ponytails floating in the sky. She still held a small wine-red umbrella in her hand. You two are really fast. My negative ghosts can't even touch you. Floating in the air, Perona said with a smile. Talking ghost? Luffy frowned. The way he looks at Lucci, Zoro, and Brook, it does seem to be a negative look. Yeah, I'm the ghost girl who ate the ghost fruit. Those are my negative ghosts. If they touch you, your mood will become extremely negative. Perona said all right. Thank you for the information. Luffy nodded, then Conqueror's Haki was released instantly. The terrifying coercion condensed into a Haki horse training, which directly hit Perona. But the next moment, no effect. Luffy is a bit surprised to see that his Conqueror's Haki has no effect on Perona. This girl can resist the precise attack of his conqueror's haki, is she so strong? Luffy, be careful behind you. They noticed two negative ghosts coming from behind again, Nami reminded Luffy. Luffy turned to face the two negative ghosts, and tried to attack the two negative ghosts with conqueror's haki. However, it is also useless. Quickly, they're about to touch us. Nami hung behind Luffy and shouted nervously, Saru. Luffy distanced himself from the negative ghost again, thinking quickly in his mind. After a while, Luffy suddenly had an idea. He turned his head to look at Nami, who put her chin on his left shoulder and said, try to use your ability and see if you can prevent those negative ghosts from touching you. Nami was slightly taken aback. What if it doesn't work? If it doesn't work, I'll think of another way. Nami also completely trusts Luffy. Okay. Nami pressed both hands on Luffy's shoulder. Luffy rolled his eyes, and was speechless at Nami's childish behavior. Standing in front of Luffy, Nami directly opened her hands to welcome the arrival of two negative ghosts. Two negative ghosts, straight into Nami's body. Then, with a swipe, it slid from Nami's body. The two negative ghosts suddenly fell, and there was an anthropomorphic expression of grievance on their faces. It works. Seeing the two negative ghosts being slid away with her own eyes, Nami was so happy. Although she followed the method Luffy suggested to her to practice the conceptual application of smooth fruit, but she has never used it on ghosts in actual combat. This time, the first show of smooth fruit against the ghost will make Nami's understanding of smooth fruit's ability to a higher level. Is it really useful? Seeing the effect, Luffy pointed to himself. Come on, try to apply it to me. Nanny? Negative ghost did not work. Perona opened her mouth wide and was immediately unhappy. Luffy looked at Perona and said, I understand, the you in front of me is not your body, but your soul. Soul, this is a ghost clone. No matter what method you use, you can't hit me. Humph. Seeing that her ghost can no longer work, Perona is very unhappy now. Ghost is it? Thank you for providing the information. Luffy nodded, and then said to Nami, you heard her, now try to see if the smooth fruit is useful for her ghost body. When Perona heard this, she said angrily, damn it. You tricked me again. Luffy spread his hands. What do you mean? You are the one that keep giving information voluntarily. Then Luffy began to act. Saru. Jeppo. Luffy's speed is extremely fast, and he came to Perona in an instant. This sudden scene made Perona startled. Nami clapped both hands on Perona's arm without hesitation, and activated the Devil Fruit ability, Slippery Smooth Ghost. When this ability is activated, 3 screaming voices resounded in the sky above this gloomy land at the same time. What Luffy and Nami didn't expect is that the ability of Smooth Fruit is effective. Perona's ghost body suddenly becomes a slippery ghost with zero friction. In this way, the wine red umbrella, the crown, the red leather boots, the black and white striped socks. At this time, all of them lost any friction, and they all fell to the ground. Usopp, Nanny? Is it? Vinsmoke Sanji, OMG. Damn Luffy and Nami, you two are blocking the camera. Get out of the way. Seeing the scene on the screen suddenly, Sanji almost went crazy. They saw umbrellas, boots, socks, clothes, and so on falling from midair. Even a fool would know what happened, but at this time, the footage played on the screen was played from the perspective behind Luffy and Nami, which caused Luffy and Nami to block Perona. Roronoa Zoro, huh? My face over there is buried on the ground. I don't seem to see it. Usopp, it's a big loss for me over there. I didn't come with you. Brook, I am the one who suffers the most. At such an important moment, I actually looked at the sky on the other side negatively. I guess I will be depressed after knowing the truth. Nami, that Lucci also knelt on the ground and grabbed the ground with his head, and he didn't see anything. It seems that only me and Luffy saw it. Nico Robin, Nami didn't get any advantage. It should be said that only Luffy get the advantage. Marshall D teach, it's too much. The video is actually blocking our view. Let the red border Luffy enjoy it alone. It's too much. Capone Big, yes, too much. Scratchman Apu, Ape Papa. Perona let out a cry, and immediately hugged herself with her arms crossed. Nami is extremely embarrassed. No, sorry. I didn't know it was this effective. Ghost Rocket. Perona is not in the mood to discuss with Nami whether it was intentional or not, and rushed directly to the distant sky. Don't look. Finding that Luffy was still looking in Perona's direction, Nami immediately covered Luffy's eyes with 2 small hands. Luffy explained, no, I'm calculating the distance. I want to see if her ability disappears when she reaches a certain distance. Okay, then Nami let go of her hand when Perona's ghostly figure completely disappeared from the field of vision. The 3 people on the ground started humming. With a limit distance of about 3,000 meters, the effect of negative ghosts will disappear. Luffy calmly analyzed. Damn it. What was I doing just now? I actually had such a ridiculous idea. Wiping the dirt off his face, Zoro is in a daze. The state of lack of fighting spirit just now was very scary for him. As a swordsman, this should never happen. Why did I suddenly seem to have lost my fighting spirit just now and fell directly to the ground? Lucci looked at his appearance in doubt. This kneeling posture was a bit unexpected at this time. Brook got up from the ground and let out a long breath. Phew. Negative ghosts are really scary. They disintegrated our fighting spirit in an instant. Negative ghost? What is that? Lucci was surprised. He didn't even see the appearance of the negative ghost. It's like a ghost. When they meet us, they made us to become very negative all of a sudden. Brook said. Wait, where are those ghosts? How did they disappear? Zoro looked around and asked in doubt. Of course, the ability of this lady Smooth Fruit is too powerful, defeating all the negative ghosts and the users. Nami patted her breasts and said proudly, hey, what is that? Where did you find the women's clothes? Suddenly, Zoro pointed to the ground not far away. There were clothes, socks, skirts, etc. on the ground, but they looked like energy bodies, not real objects. What? There are women's clothes? Let me see if there are any good-looking women around. Hearing this, Brook immediately became excited. However, as soon as he turned his gaze to the direction Zoro was pointing at, those clothes disappeared immediately the other side the moment Perona Ghost Body returned to her main body. Those ghost body clothes also returned to her. Damn bastard. Perona's body is sitting on the bed, her two small fists are tightly clenched. Perona is beating the pillow frantically. Originally she wanted to attack Luffy and Nami with negative ghost. It turned out, she just exposed all of her secrets to Luffy and Nami. Thinking of the way she ran away, Perona's cheeks twitched. Damn it, how can I face them now? Now as long as she see Luffy and Nami again, Perona can't wait to find a hole to go in. How can she show any combat power? No. One of those two guys is so fast, and the other has the fruit ability to defeat me. I can't stay here. Perona hurriedly got up from the bed and dragged a big treasure box in the corner over. I originally cooperated with Lord Moria because there are many interesting and scary zombies here. Now that my life may be in danger, I will retreat to a safe place first. Perona didn't hesitate anymore, and hurriedly took a large box of treasures and headed for her ship. I should leave few ghost. If those people were defeated by Lord Moria, I will come back halfway. Perona released several small monitoring ghosts, and flew towards various places in the Ghost Island. Afterwards, she boarded her exclusive ship and sailed into the mist. Chapter 132 Chapter 132 Moria persisted until the second blow. Luffy and his group of 5 arrived at the Ghost Castle. That's where the zombie generals are, and my shadow is on one of the zombie generals. Speaking of which, that zombie is famous. Brook pointed to a round door ahead and introduced it to everyone. Famous? Who is it? Nami asked curiously. Brook replied, that person is a dragon-slaying samurai who used to be in Wano Kuni, and his name is Ryama. Ryama. Hearing this name, Zoro suddenly showed a surprised expression. He heard this name from his master Koshiro before. He also knew how powerful this man was before. He was a little shocked and said, Moria kill him? Brook shook his head and said, no. Moria just stole his corpse and put my shadow in it to create a zombie general. Because it used my shadow, the strength of this zombie general is basically it's exactly the same as me. Of course, there may still be a little bit of Ryama's consciousness when he was alive, but it can be said to be negligible. After hearing what Brook said, Luffy understood. He smiled and said, no wonder you can't get back your own shadow. Every time you fight this guy, you are fighting yourself. Yeah, it's too difficult. Brook twitched his lips. Boom. Lucci has already kicked open the round door ahead. Brush. A sword light flashed out, and a zombie in a red coat was slashed out with a sword. Is that him? Luffy asked. No, this is Captain John, who is also a great pirate. He was very powerful in his prime. Brook shook his head. Subsequently, several general zombies rushed out of it one after another. It's him. When Ryama's zombie came out, Zoro recognized it without Brook's introduction. Let me. Zoro took the lead and rushed directly to Ryama. One sword style lion song. When Zoro appeared behind the Ryama zombie, Ryama didn't even have time to draw his sword, and his head was cut off directly. Chance. Brook rushed over quickly when he saw this, and used the water shell to spit seawater. A black shadow floated out from the body of Ryama, and got into Brook's body. I'm back. Yo ho 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 ho, my shadow is back. Great. Yo ho ho ho. This feeling of losing and regaining, if you have not experienced it personally, you will never be able to understand how excited Brook is now as that dragon-slaying samurai. It sounds like a powerful name. I was instantly killed by Zoro. Nami curled her lips. A little disdainful. Luffy explained, you made a mistake. It wasn't Ryama who was defeated, but Brook. It's impossible to know what Ryama's real strength was. Swipe, brush, brush. Several swords and swords flickered, and several other zombie generals were also chopped up by Zoro. Afro, what are you still doing? Give them the water. Seeing that Brook was still immersed in joy, Zoro shouted. Ah, here I comes. Brook started working quickly. This sword. Suddenly, Zoro's attention fell on Ryama's sword. He thought the zombie must be using a broken sword, but this sword is intact. Zoro picked it up and waved it lightly. Good sword. Although we don't know this sword, it doesn't prevent Zoro from being able to judge the quality of the sword. Rorono Zoro, the Ryama over there defeated in an instant. When they were in Ghost Island before, Zoro and Ryama fought heartily, and finally defeated Ryama. With the little consciousness left, Ryama entrusted the black sword Shisui to Zoro. But now in the red bordered video, Ryama don't even have a chance to speak, let alone entrust him with the sword. Although it is more formal to accept this sword on his side, but the strength of Zoro over there makes Zoro feel a sense of urgency. Don Quixote da Flamingo Fufurfur. Can't wait to see Moria demise. Gecko Moria, you fart. I won't die immediately. It's you. When the red border Luffy over there meets you, you will die immediately. Don Quixote da Flamingo, do you think I'm a weak like you? Fur. Zoro also take the sheath from Ryama's body, inserted the sword into the sheath, and made a clang, very crisp. Holding this sword in his hand and looking at it for a while, Zoro was very excited. I just don't know what quality this sword is, but it should be one of the Mito. Luffy said, don't worry. When we arrive at the Sabayati archipelago, we can ask around in the shop there. My shadow is back and Zoro got a good sword. Shall we still go to Moria? Brook asked. Luffy frowned. Why don't we go? Of course we want to go. Otherwise, wouldn't it be a waste of 1 or 2 billion belly? Led by Brooke, a group of 5 people came to the castle. Brooke pointed upwards. Moria is on the top floor. Moria, come out and meet me, Luffy yelled directly. As Luffy expected. After a while, a fat figure appeared on the balcony on the top floor of the castle. Where did the blind monkey come from? Actually came to my place and act wildly. But, since you took the initiative to came to my door, I will be polite to accept your shadow. Hey he he he. Gecko Moria smiled and pointed in the direction of Luffy. A group of black shadow bats flew over. Luffy's arm stretches out suddenly. Armament Haki's wrapped palm instantly grabbed Moria's head. Then he pulled Moria down violently, and then his knee popped out. Conqueror's Haki and Armament Haki were wrapped around the knee at the same time, and hit Moria's head with a bang. With this blow, Luffy didn't feel any sense of solidity, but as if he was hitting the air. Missed? Luffy's observation Haki captures Moria's location instantly. He looks again at the balcony where Moria just appeared, saw Moria standing there, looking at Luffy in horror, and Moria, who was caught by Luffy just now, turned into a dark shadow. Judging from the shape of the shadow, it is Moria's own shadow. Damn! That was Conqueror's entanglement. Moria also went to the New World when he was young, so he has some knowledge. He can be sure that what was wrapped around Luffy's knee just now is definitely a double compilation of Armament Haki and Conqueror's Haki. Don Quixote da Flamingo, oh, you managed to dodge it? Awesome, Moria, Gecko Moria, ha. Stop looking down on people. Do you think I will be defeated by Red Border Luffy like that idiot crocodile? Look, I have a secret weapon. As long as Red Border Luffy can't find out my secret, he won't be able to defeat me. As soon as Moria's voice fell, Luffy's arm stretched again instantly. Dang. He grabbed Moria's head all of a sudden, and then pulled it back. Asshole. Moria cursed secretly. He had already seen Luffy make a move, but now he had no time to dodge. When Luffy bumped Moria's head into his knee, his hand suddenly stopped. Subsequently, Conqueror's Haki was wrapped around this arm. It is equivalent to the person who holds Moria with Conqueror's entanglement and Armament entanglement. Then a fierce punch blasted out, heading straight for Moria's shadow. Nanny! Moria's eyes widened immediately. He was so angry that he wanted to curse. Moria's body is frantically switching back and forth between the shadow and the body, but all this is of no avail. Moria's body and shadow collided, and passed out cleanly. Puff puff puff. As if being punched and vomited, all the shadow spewed out from Moria's mouth, frantically flying towards the misty forest. Crocodile, is this your secret weapon? Don Quixote da Flamingo, phew furfur. Not bad. He lasted until the second blow of the Red Border Luffy. Gecko Moria, that Red Border Luffy is too much. How did he realize that my body and shadow are interchangeable? Dracul my hawk. Analyzing the enemy's ability in battle is a basic requirement for a strong man, let alone a strong man with a talent like Red Border Luffy. Boa Hancock, Red Border Luffy is awesome. Quick, just follow the shadows, let's get the money. Seeing a large number of shadows blowing out, Luffy waved his hand to signal everyone to follow. Luffy, do you want to kill this guy? Zoro pointed at Moria with a sword. Gecko Moria, that green bastard. Seeing the scene, Moria was so angry. Don Quixote da Flamingo, phew furfur. Prepare to be beheaded. No need. This guy is a bastard, but the people he captured are still alive anyway, so let him live. There is no injustice or enmity in itself, whether this person has any reason to kill him. Naturally Luffy doesn't care. A person like Absalom would just takes off his pants by relying on the invisibility fruit and wants to do bad things to other women. It is definitely impossible for a normal person to spare his life. The killing of Crocodile in Alabasta before was also because Crocodile killed countless Alabasta civilians, so he deserves to die. And if Moria wasn't Shishibukai, Luffy would definitely take him and exchange it for bounties. But he is still a Shishibukai, and he can't exchange his bounties. However, there are genuine pirates in the misty forest. Isn't it stupid to leave so many pirates alone? Zoro glanced at Moria, then sheathed his sword and left in the direction of Luffy and others. Gecko Moria, hey he 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 he. That's great, I'm not dead over there. Crocodile, damn it. What does Red Border Luffy mean? He kill me. But show mercy to Moria over there. Tsuru, you have the blood of innocent in your hand while Moria target pirate that went to the Florian Triangle. Is it wrong to kill you? Gecko Moria, hey he 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 he. Seems like I'm at least not seen as a bloody villain by Red Border Luffy standards. Don Quixote da Flamingo, you're quite proud, aren't you? The scum that was defeated after 2 attacked Gecko Moria. Anyway, I'm safe over there. Da Flamingo, I guess it will be your turn soon. At that time, let's see how you die. Don Quixote da Flamingo, phew furfur. This video should be over after this. Do you want me to appear? I have never met the Straw Hat Boy in real life, so they're in so me in the video. Following the shadow's flight direction, Luffy and his group of 5 came to the forest shadow. It's my shadow is back. Great, our shadows are all back. Who defeated Moria? Who helped us? The pirates in the misty forest were extremely excited. 10 cheered and ran towards the outside of the misty forest. When they came to the entrance of the foggy forest, they saw a huge balloon man here. Of course, there are 4 figures beside the giant balloon man, which can be ignored. Hi everyone, it was I who defeated Moria. Now I ask you, are all the people who lost their shadows in the misty forest here? Luffy, who turned into a giant balloon man, obviously attracted everyone's attention as soon as he opened his mouth. Yes, they are all here. So you saved us. Thank you so much. Thanks you. Thank you so much. Pirates shout loudly. Luffy smiled. Oh, no, you don't have to thank me, everyone come with me now. Our ship is on the shore, and we are about to leave here soon. If you don't want to go with us, you can just stay with us. Ghost Island. Nami pressed one hand on the ground, and a crystal clear slide spread out in an instant, leading straight to the shore. She looked at the pirates. Okay, those who want to leave, just follow us on this slide now. Speaking, she jumped directly onto the slide, slid out of the way. Then, the four of Luffy also slipped out. The pirates looked at them and decided to join in. Chapter 133, Chapter 133 Buggy Awakens. Thousand Sunny left the Florian Triangle and headed straight for Sabayati Archipelago. On the deck, Luffy is leaning on a deck chair, wearing sunglasses, sucking on a lollipops. I got it all, Captain. Califa came with long legs, holding a notepad on her hand. Yeah, Luffy hummed. Califa opened the first page and read, there are 829 people in total, 73 of them did not have a bounty, 57 crime can be forgiven, and the remaining number is 699. So much. Hearing this, Luffy's eyes sparkled. He pulled the sunglasses a little below the bridge of his nose, and looked at Califa. How much is it? Califa tweeted the purple gold glasses. The total bounty amount of the 699 people is 3.374 billion belly. His even Luffy, who now has a net worth of nearly 4 billion, still can't help but take a deep breath after hearing this figure. If all the cash is exchanged for this, the net worth will be doubled directly. Pirates are worth the money. What ammunition, what devil fruit. In front of selling pirates, everything is second to it. Okay. Tell Lucci and Keiko not to treat them badly, give them good food and drink. Nami, Luffy over there is really making money. Nami is drooling. If this is from her side, how many beautiful clothes can he buy? Usopp, yes. They make money quickly, so they spend money generously. To build the Thousand Sunny, the materials alone cost about 600 million berries. The labor cost is 100 million berries, and after the construction is completed, they paid 100 million berries. I'm so envious. Nico Robin, actually, at the beginning, Luffy spent money and solicited it. Do you remember haggling for a long time when he bought sword for Zoro? Later, the money increased, and he became more generous. Frankie, haha. Yes, in order to cut tens of thousands more belly, he fought with the shop owner. Sabayati Archipelago Groove number 66. This is where the 6th branch of Marine is stationed. Night falls. A Marine Real Admiral is sitting in front of the window, stroking the medal of Rear Admiral's military rank, and the appointment of the base chief of the 6th branch of Marine. I never thought that I, Rocky, would be lucky enough to be a Rear Admiral in this life. Recalling that half a year ago, he was a Marine captain who seemed to have no hope of promotion, planning to stay in the 16th branch for the rest of his life. Didn't expect a good thing from heaven. 5 thugs beat him up, and directly gave him a promotion and make a fortune. Not only was his rank promoted to Commodore, but he also became the base chief of the 2nd field branch of the Marine. Then, a few months later, it was the 5 gangsters again. He got promoted again. Not only was he promoted to Rear Admiral, he was also transferred to the 6th branch of Sabayati Archipelago. You know, this place was guarded by Marine Vice Admiral before. Now it is guarded by a newly promoted Rear Admiral, which shows how much the headquarters value him. My 5 gangster, when will you come to see me again? Maybe I'll be promoted to Vice Admiral. Rear Admiral Rocky put away the medal and letter of appointment, and is about to go to bed, but at this moment, the door of his room opened. Out of fighting instinct, he immediately stretched out his hand to the gun on the table. Keep reaching halfway. Loki. Rear Admiral suddenly froze. This is? When he saw clearly the enemy that broke in before him, he was so excited. Ha ha, come on. He didn't say anything, just opened his hands, indicating that he didn't have a weapon, and then rushed over with his head stretched out. The 5-member group of Straw Hat Bandit here is directly blinded. What happened? Buggy waved his stick with disgust on his face and hit the Rear Admiral. Rear Admiral Rocky screamed happily, then passed out. Subsequently, the Straw Hat Bandit 5 found the vault. It's not enough. This is estimated to be just over 2 billion belly. Usopp made a rough calculation, and said unhappily, this is the 6th branch, why is it so poor? Luffy was also extremely depressed, then shook his head. I will go back later and settle the accounts, plus the 1 billion belly they owed to us last time. The Marine now owes us at least 2 billion in profits. Speaking, Luffy stretched his arms, wrapped around the treasure chests one after another, and then slipped away with these treasure chests. After transporting the money back to the Thousand Sunny, the 5 of Luffy began to send the pirates to the Marine base batch by batch. After that, the Straw Hats came to an island near the Sabayati Archipelago. Luffy let go of all the guys who didn't have a bounty and the one with the forgiven crime go. It turns out that this sword is really Ryama's sword, Shisui. Luffy looked at the introduction of Shisui on the Mito Atlas, and his face showed joy. Nami also stared wide-eyed. What luck! Such a Mito was found on a zombie. Maybe Moria didn't know the sword, otherwise, it would be impossible to give a sword this famous to a zombie. Luffy rubbed his chin and analyzed. By the way, we will head to the Fishmen Island next. Are you ready for the underwater adventure? At this time, Nami held a nautical chart and announced to everyone, the Fishmen Island? That's great. Thinking of the mermaid of the Fishmen Island, Sanji's eyes are crazy with lust. No, don't rush. But at this moment, Luffy rejected the proposal. He looked at everyone. During the day, everyone has already inquired at the Sabayati Archipelago. New World is more dangerous than the first half of the Grand Line. There are a lot of pirates with a reward of over 100 million, even with strong with Conqueror's Haki. And, the most important thing is this. Luffy slapped a piece of information on the table. Nami picked it up, opened it and read, the current known whereabouts of the road poneglyph. One is in the hands of 4 Emperors Charlotte Linlin, and the other is in the hands of 4 Emperors Kaido. Yes, The information we have obtained from multiple sources in the Sabayati archipelago is almost the same. The only whereabouts of the road poneglyph that can be determined so far are these two pieces. Anyway, since we are going to Raftel, then the content of these two poneglyph must be obtained. Next, after we go to New World, we will face the Four Emperors Regiment. So, our regiment can't have shortcomings. So, we will go to the next journey after we train to an appropriate strength. Speaking of this, Luffy looked at Chopper, Robin and Frankie, especially the three of you. You will have to improve yourself crazily in the next period of time. Yeah. Robin nodded. She knew that her strength could rank among the bottom three among the Straw Hat Pirates, so she understood the urgency of improving her strength. Okay, I will work hard too. Chopper also raised his little hoof practice. Super. Frankie has no objection either. Nami, they are training again. Rorono Zoro, training is a must. Going to the New World with their current strength, they are already much better than us. And they will continue to train for a while before going to the New World, and they will be even stronger by then. Nico Robin, in comparison, our side is like a random adventure, while their side is more like a well-prepared adventure. Monkey D, Luffy, it seems that we have to find time to train hard for a while. I don't want the tragedy of the Mary to happen again. On an unknown island, the training of the Straw Hat Pirates has begun. Luffy has designated compulsory and elective training plans for everyone. Compulsory courses are Soru, Jeppo. The latest Marine 6 Styles technique, this is Luffy's favorite. As long as you can practice Jeppo, you can guarantee a certain amount of staying in the air. Even if the Devil Fruit user is knocked down to the sea, you can change direction in midair by relying on Jeppo and return to land. Equivalent to life-saving skills, so Luffy stipulates that everyone must learn it, including two sisters, Kiwi and Emozi. And Sora, this body technique is to move quickly in an instant, and it is also a very practical life-saving and escape ability. And Jeppo is like Sora's high-level ability, so if you want to practice Jeppo, you must practice Soru. In addition to the compulsory courses, the other is elective. According to the characteristics of each person, the direction of electives is also different, such as Robin. She is a flower fruit user, and her limbs can bloom anywhere she looks, and the strength of those limbs that bloomed inherited the strength of the main body. In this case, the strength of Robin's body is particularly important. So Armament Haki is Robin's main training direction. In addition, Rankaku is also a compulsory course arranged by Luffy for Robin. Judging from the current configuration of the Straw Hat Pirates, the main combatants are Luffy, Zoro, Buggy, Sanji, and Frankie. It can be said that the front row meat shield is enough. And Robin's fruit ability also determines her to be not suitable to stand in the front row during battle. She is a support with Nami. Nami's direction is pure support, but Robin is different. Luffy hopes she can become an AoE support because Chopper is Zoan Devil Fruit power, so it focuses on developing Devil Fruit. Usopp is mainly observation haki. Because Sanji does not use hands, Rankaku is also a very suitable way for him to practice while practicing Armament Haki. In addition, Luffy also let the Cleaners trio start the road of Haki practice. Although they are just cleaners, this is no ordinary cleaner, this is the cleaner of the Straw Hat. If they don't know how to use Haki, wouldn't it be embarrassing? As the training of Straw Hat One Piece officially begins, time flies in the blink of an eye. 2 months have passed. On this day, on the island, a burst of excited laughter burst into the sky. It's done, I finally done it. Buggy stands on the top of a mountain, laughing. You did it? Luffy arrived here first, looked at Buggy in front of him, although his appearance didn't change much, but in terms of momentum, there was obviously some kind of essential transformation. That's right. Luffy, I finally awakened too. Haha, his hands flew out immediately, and kept touching rocks one by one. All the rocks he touched immediately disintegrated and turned into countless crumbs. Rise. Buggy gave a low snort, and all the rock fragments flew up, forming a machete at least 10 meters long in front of Buggy. Under Buggy's control, the sick machete swept out towards the woods ahead. Brush. Without any hindrance, this 10-meter machete skipped over the trees in front of him. Boom! After a delay of 1 or 2 seconds, all the trees collapsed. Oh, Luffy's eyes widened. He has to say, just from the visual effect, Buggy's move is really exaggerated. However, he looked at the crumbs that make up the 10-meter machete, and said with some surprise, "You just awakened, can you directly crush other things to this extent?" After hearing this, Buggy laughed immediately. "It's all thanks to the good foundation you laid for me. After I awaken, the degree of spit of external objects is based on the ability of my body to master. The degree of dynamic division comes. My body can actively split into the size of a grain of sand, so my splitting degree of external objects can also reach the size of a grain of sand." I see. Luffy nodded, and then asked, "Can these foreign objects that were split by you return to their original state?" "Of course." Buggy waved his hand, and saw the 10-meter machete in the air disintegrate immediately, turning into countless pieces and falling to the original position. When those fragments are reassembled together, they become intact rocks again, just as Buggy splits himself and comes back together. Incredible. Seeing the splitting effect after Buggy's awakening, Luffy couldn't help giving a thumbs up. Chapter 134, Chapter 134. Ace, Nanny? Luffy over there won't save me? Buggy, is this my fruit awakening power? Looking at the video of him manipulating stone fragments to form a 10-meter machete, Buggy's heart is beating wildly. Besides, the most important thing is what to touch and what to break. This is the scariest thing. Shanks, Buggy, you should also awaken your fruit ability early. Then you will be invincible in naval battles. Gold Roger, yes. An awakened split fruit. Even if the battle with Shiki happen, I guarantee that the golden lion will only be dead. Shiki, gee ha 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 ha. You bastard. Don't slender me. But, if Buggy's fruit really awaken over here, it will be a real headache. As the ability user of float fruit, Shiki can be said to be invincible in the sea. But if he meet Buggy, just reach out, and his fleet will be turned into a pile of crumbs, which will be troublesome. Time flies. Another 2 months have passed. This day, Robin also received achieve a good progress. Robin's Rankyaku and Devil Fruit skills are finally upgraded. CN Fleur Rankyaku. Robin crossed her hands in front of her, activated the fruit ability swipe, swipe, swipe. Slender legs protruding from the ground 2 meters in front of her. These roots stick out straight at first, like poles standing on the ground. However, at the next moment, these heels bent together, and then kicked out instantly. Bath, bath, bath. Rankyaku chopping waves formed in an instant, hitting the mountain wall violently. Boom. 30 waves of Rankyaku hit the mountain wall, forming a violent explosion. The entire mountain wall has collapsed. Nico Robin, to think I can combine my ability with Rankyaku like this. Seeing Robin's ability on the other side of the screen, Robin opened her mouth wide in horror. Combining the abilities of Rankyaku and flower fruit can create such a mass killing group attack skill. If it wasn't for watching the screen, Robin would never have thought of the direction of this development. And now, Robin has begun to think about how to learn Rankyaku. Nami, this is too strong. Even if there are thousands of troops on the opposite side, don't even think about breaking through Miss Robin's defense line. Vinsmoke Sanji, wow. There are so many beautiful legs. Rorono Zoro, look at your shameful appearance. Califa, her Rankyaku is too exaggerated. Keku, indeed, neither of us can beat her. Lucci, although it's powerful, if she do it like this, it will require a lot of physical strength. It shouldn't last for a few rounds. Okay. Sister Robin, this is simply sweeping away thousands of troops. Nami's eyes are shining, looking at the blasted mountain wall, amazed. It's really powerful, but it consumes a lot of physical strength. This time, it consumes 1/6 of my physical strength. If I continue for a few rounds, I will collapse. Robin put away her crossed hands, and those 30 long legs also disappeared. Don't worry too much about physical strength. If you really need to use this move, just remember to have Nami along, Luffy said. The practicality of the move just now, Luffy also very much recognized. Based on Robin's current development of flower fruit, even if 100 legs are released at the same time, it will not be a big problem. What do you mean? As for what Luffy said just now, Robin didn't understand a little bit. She looked at Luffy differently, and then at Nami. Hee. Let's experiment and you will understand. Nami came up behind Robin, wrapped her arms around her, and said, now, Sister Robin, you can use the ability move just now again. Since Nami said so, Robin didn't think too much, and immediately crossed her hands in front of her body, and the ability of flower fruit was activated. 30 long legs rose from the ground, fluttering and swaying, and then kicked forward at the same time. Whoosh whoosh. 30 Rankyaku chopping waves suddenly formed, violently bombarding the mountain. But this time, Robin was shocked to find that the moment when fatigue was about to occur, it miraculously disappeared. Because fatigue does not occur, energy consumption does not occur. To put it simply, that is, her skill release this time means that she didn't consume physical strength. How can this be? Robin turned around in shock, put her arm around Nami's shoulder, and asked in surprise. Nami's mouth raised a little proudly, this is my ability. As soon as I ate the ability of smooth fruit, Luffy asked me to try to develop the ability to slip away fatigue. It took me a full year to develop it. Slip away fatigue. Robin's eyes widened, she covered her red lips, and exclaimed endlessly, doesn't that mean that as long as you are always by my side, I can release Rankyaku indefinitely? That's not true. I have been working hard to improve the success rate of the skill, but the highest success rate can only be maintained between 90% and 96%, and it is impossible to achieve a 100% success rate. Also, this ability can only be used on others only when I am in contact with other. And it must be used at the correct time. It is almost the moment you launch the move, or use it a little earlier, otherwise the failure rate is extremely high. Nami explains. However, upon hearing this, Robin showed a startled expression. A success rate of more than 90% is outrageous. Okay, based on the probability, it is equivalent to helping her recover 9 times of physical strength every 10 times. In this way, according to the extent that she could release 6 or 7 times, with the help of Nami, she can release about 670 such abilities. It is on the battlefield, releasing 60 or 70 times of such Rankyaku bombing waves in a row. What is the concept? At this time, Luffy said, this trick should be useful in the future. You two should cooperate with the training to increase your collaboration and teamwork. Well, yes. I also want to strengthen my physical strength. With Nami's ability, every little improvement in my physical fitness is equivalent to a 10-fold improvement. This is very important. Robin's passion for training immediately increased. Time flies, another month has passed. On this day, Nami just finished training, and waved to a messenger seagull flying past in the sky. The messenger seagull flies down. Nami tucked 100 belly into his pannier, and grabbed a copy of the latest newspaper. Let me take a look. Which god of wealth needs to be bound into a booklet by me? While opening the newspaper, Nami took out the bounty booklet. Compared to the original booklet, this reward booklet is much thinner. Because those bounty who were brought to Marine headquarters in exchange for bounties have been removed from this booklet. Huh? What is this? suddenly saw that today's headline was not a reward, but a news of some kind of execution. Nami let out a confused voice. What's wrong? Luffy, who was resting on the Mary, heard Nami's voice next to him, and went to her curiously. Little Mary also looked towards Nami curiously. Look, it seems that Marine is going to execute a commander of the Whitebeard Pirates, and it will be in the Marine headquarters. Nami walked over while looking at the content. Suddenly, when she saw this guy's bounty offer, she immediately exclaimed, wow, he is indeed the commander of the 4 Emperors Regiment. He's bounty OS more than 500 million. Seeing this price, Nami's eyes revealed the shape of belly. More than 500 million? Are the pirates in New World so valuable? Hearing this number, Luffy's eyes lit up. One pirate is more than 500 million, if they catch 100. Isn't that a fortune? While starting to silently think about the plan to make a fortune after going to New World in the future, Luffy took the newspaper from Nami's hand. He looked at the headline and started reading. The execution will happen in Marine headquarters in a week's time. Whitebeard Pirates 2nd Commander Fire Fist Ace. Shiki, the summit war over there is about to start. Edward Newgate, Gururara, LA. This kid seems to be very interested in 500 million belly. Boa Hancock, that's not right. The summit war will start in a week. Why hasn't Mr. Red Border Luffy over there came to me? Gecko Moria, he. Unimfo, is it possible that the Red Border Luffy over there has nothing to do with you? Don Quixote da Flamingo, it seems very likely. Phew fur. Suru, it's good if there is no connection. Judging from this situation, the Luffy boy over there should not have gone to the Impel Down. If this is the case, the prisoners in the Impel Down will not escape. Sengoku, well, that's good. Gol D. Roger, are you two idiots thinking too much? Even if the Red Border Luffy over there really goes to the Impel Down, those prisoners can't escape. Kojiki Odin, yes. With Luffy's style of doing things, he blocked the door and recaptured them, and then went to the Marine branch base to collect the bounty. Rocks D. Xebec, hahaha, that's true. Boa Hancock, no way. I really don't have a chance with Luffy-kun? My body and mind hurt so much. Ace. Reading the name, Luffy froze for a moment. Can't be such a coincidence? Then, he continued to look down. IHE saw the full name of Fire Fist Ace, Porgasti Ace. Nanny. When he saw the full name, Luffy immediately confirmed that this Ace is the one who lived with him in Dodden's house. Although Luffy was practicing most of the time at that time, Luffy would go back to have dinner on time every day, and sometimes Ace would go back to eat, and the contact time was not too small. It's been a long time, the two of them have communicated a lot, and they both know the relationship between each other and Garp, and they have recognized each other as brothers. Of course, if you want to say how strong brotherhood is, it must be bragging. What's wrong, Luffy? Seeing Luffy's surprised look, Nami immediately asked with concern. Luffy looked at the head portrait on the newspaper, and twitched the corner of his mouth slightly. This person is my grandpa's adopted grandson, that is, my brother in name. Nami widened her eyes in astonishment. She was shocked. Is this your brother who is about to be executed? Luffy nodded. Yeah. I don't have much contact with him, but if you think from the perspective of Grandpa, he is indeed my brother. The current situation is that the Whitebeard Pirates have announced that they will go to Marine headquarters to rescue Ace on the day of the execution. Nami pointed to the information in the newspaper. If this is the case, then we will take the opportunity to take action, and there should be a great chance to rescue your brother. Save? Luffy frowned. Why? Monkey D. Luffy, huh? Seeing the Red Border Luffy's reaction over there, Luffy was stunned. What's the situation? Red Border Luffy over there isn't going to save Ace? Porgas D. Ace, huh? Ace himself was also dumbfounded, although in his heart he did not want Luffy to save him, but when he heard Luffy over there say why, his heart suddenly became empty. He knew that the Luffy over there is not the Luffy here, but this kind of psychological blow is still hard to bear. Sabo, hey, what's going on with Luffy over there? Why didn't he want save Ace? Sabo has recovered his memory now, he cannot accept what Red Border Luffy did. Trafalgar Law, I don't think there's anything wrong with Red Border Luffy. The Red Border Luffy and Ace over there only met each other when they were kids, chatting. There is no emotion behind the Straw Hat and Ace, so his reaction now should be normal. Shanks, that's the truth. They are just brothers in name. Gol D. Roger, with Luffy's character, he really wouldn't be so reckless. Aha? Nami was stunned, she froze. Why? Luffy said calmly, look, Marine headquarters would rather trigger an all-out war with the Whitebeard Pirates than resolutely execute him publicly in Marine headquarters. Why do you think that? Think about how many bad things he has done. He deserves it if he is killed. When they heard that the reason why Luffy didn't go to save Ace was actually this, all the viewers froze on the spot. Chapter 135, Chapter 135. Look, this is called a profession. Porgas D. Ace, hey, does Luffy over there take me for granted? Marco, haha. Red Border Luffy must have thought that your 550 million berry bounty was obtained by killing and raiding all day long? Edward Newgate, goo. If he knew the real reason why Marine insisted on killing you, he wouldn't turn a blind eye. Sengoku, nonsense. Red Border Luffy over there is no need to meddle. Gol D. Roger, that's right. Red Border Luffy is indeed not a nosy person, but the problem is, it can't be completely someone else's business to him. I bet if he knows the truth that Ace is going to be executed, he will definitely take action. Sakazuki, he better come. Then I over there can wipe him out. Shanks, where did you get your confidence? Because of the upcoming big event, Luffy decided to let the Straw Hat Pirates rest for a week, waiting for the big event to come. The newspaper said that the news agency of Sabayati Archipelago will broadcast the Summit War live. So the Straw Hat Pirates went to Sabayati Archipelago again when passing by Groove 66. The Straw Hat Pirates and their party took a special look. Sure enough, the Marine Guards on Groove 66 have been strengthened a lot. Luffy reminded, before we officially go to New World, we will come and visit again. Our 2.458 billion belly and Marine need to be collected. The other 4 members of the Bandit 5 strongly agree. This Summit War live broadcast is a good opportunity for us to learn about the highest combat power of Marine and the combat power of 4 Emperors level big pirates. Everyone should watch it carefully. When the Thousand Sunny came to a stop, Luffy said seriously, "Good. Everyone understands that this is a rare opportunity. There is still about a week before the Summit War starts, and this week is a rest week." After landing on the shore, Luffy immediately rushed to the most famous local restaurant with his crewmates. "Look, that's him. Straw Hat Luffy. The big pirate with a reward of 200 million belly. Catch him and you can get rich." Suddenly, someone shouted beside the Straw Hat Pirates. Luffy and his group looked over, and saw this guy with a watermelon head, holding a piece of paper in his hand. His face was flushed with excitement. "Look. Next to him are Roronoa, Zoro and Nami, each offering a reward of 50 million belly. Catch them, that is total of 300 million belly. We have 108 bounty hunters here, let's go together." "Okay. We will share the 300 million together." Listening to the noise of these people around, the Straw Hat Pirates finally realized that they met their colleagues. Luffy Haki leaked the majestic Conqueror's Haki release from him. The terrifying coercion came, and all of these bounty hunters are stunned at once, foaming at the mouth, groaning. Only the bounty hunter who shouted just now didn't faint. It's not that he can resist Luffy's Conqueror's Haki, but that Luffy's Conqueror's Haki deliberately bypassed him. "You, come here." Luffy stretched out his right index finger and pointed to the bounty hunter. This guy was completely frightened at this time, his legs were trembling non-stop, walking toward Luffy. It's over, I kicked the iron plate this time, I'm going to die." With fear, the watermelon-headed bounty hunter walks up to Luffy. Luffy reached out and took the newspaper from his hand. It turned out to be a special news with the title, 10 Supernovas. "Huh?" Luffy frowned, and looked at the bounty hunter with a watermelon head in doubt. "Hey, does this paper mean that there are now 10 pirates with a bounty of more than 100 million on this island? Nanny?" Watermelon-headed bounty hunter was stunned for a moment, looking at Luffy in disbelief. "TB, as one of the 10 supernovas, don't you know about this? Our captain is asking you something." Buggy's eyes froze, and the sharp eyes immediately frightened the watermelon-headed bounty hunter. Watermelon-headed bounty hunter quickly nodded. Yes, there are 10 powerful pirates like you." Ahaha. Hearing what the watermelon-head bounty hunter said, Nami suddenly laughed. "You must have misunderstood something." Luffy continued to ask, "We have only just landed, how do you know we are here?" The watermelon-head bounty hunter quickly replied, "We bounty hunters are an alliance. There are people watching at every port. As long as it is a big pirate with a bounty of over 100 million, our alliance has already grasped their whereabouts." Facing a strong man like Luffy, the watermelon-headed bounty hunter didn't dare to take any chances, and answered honestly. As soon as these words came out, Luffy's eyes lit up. "Oh, if you that, it mean you also know the whereabouts of the other 9 people, right?" Yes. The watermelon-headed bounty hunter was stunned for a moment. He looked at Luffy with a little fear. Luffy slapped his thigh. "Great. Where are they?" Let me ask." Speaking, the watermelon-head bounty hunter took out an intercom snail and asked, "This is Watermelon-head. Please report the location of other supernovas except Luffy." After a while, different voices came from the intercom. "Island Restaurant Groove number 24, we discover Supernova Jewelry Bonnie, Capone Big, Hawkins." Island Bar Groove number 21, we discover Scratchman Apu, Eustace Kid. Civilian Street Groove number 21, we discover Urage, Killer, Drake, Trafalgar Law. At this time, Nami rubbed his hands, licked his little tongue, and said excitedly, "Wow. Luffy, I calculated these people add up to 1.743 billion belly. 9 people are worth so much money." Luffy stared wide-eyed, obviously also surprised by the price. They caught about 700 pirates before, and they were worth more than 3 billion belly. Now 9 pirates are worth nearly 2 billion. This is really cost-effective. Watermelon-headed bounty hunter looked at Luffy and Nami, completely confused. What's the situation? Isn't this guy a supernova? Why does he look like a bounty hunter? Eustace Kid, that guy, isn't he going to catch us over there? Trafalgar Law, looking at the situation, he is indeed doing this. Scratchman Apu, what a trouble. Even pirates like Crocodile and Moria are not his opponents. If he meets us, we don't know if we can get away. Urage, still thinking about getting away. Let's see how we can each survive. In his hands, Jewelry Bonnie, damn red border Luffy. We didn't mess with him. Capone Big, he only recognizes money. Led by the watermelon-head bounty hunter, the Straw Hat Pirates soon arrived at Groove 21. Where is this kid? He is the most expensive, look for him. Luffy pointed to the Supernova special bounty in his hand, and asked the watermelon-head hunter. Watermelon-headed bounty hunter pointed forward. "The bar. Here is the bar in front. There is also a Scratchman Apu there." Luffy looked down at the Supernova special issue, and was overjoyed. These two add up to more than 500 million. That's great. When they came to the tavern, as soon as Luffy entered the door, his eyes immediately searched around, and then fell on Eustace Kid. A moment later, he found the figure of Scratchman Apu. Found them. Luffy smiles. Without further ado, the Conqueror's Haki release. The pirates present all turned their backs on their backs and fell to the ground, spitting out their mouths. Only Eustace Kid and Scratchman Apu resisted. Hey, damn it, this is Conqueror's Haki. Scratchman Apu stood up directly, staring at Luffy in horror. It's not like he hasn't met a strong man with Conqueror's Haki before, but it's the first time he has seen someone who can use Conqueror's Haki to directly knock all his subordinates to the ground. Asshole. Using Conqueror's here. Under Kid's smoky eyebrows, there is an extremely cold and stern look in the eyes of the day as Conqueror's Haki is also released violently. He looked at everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates with a dazed face, but none of them fainted? Vinsmoke Sanji, haha. Look at his bewildered face. I laughed so hard, Frankie. I guess he has never seen a pirate group that can withstand the impact of Conqueror's Haki? Nico Robin, although he also has Conqueror's Haki, but his Conqueror's Haki is not as good as Red Border Luffy's Conqueror's Haki over there. Gecko Moria, hey hee hee hee. This kid is dumbfounded after using Conqueror's Haki. What? You all resisted my Conqueror's Haki? Kid looked at the Straw Hat Pirates with a shocked expression. However, what he said made Luffy ask in a daze, what? Did he use Conqueror's Haki? When Luffy asked this question, the chat room burst into laughter. Bastard. F****ku. Kid's mentality exploded. Kid roars, the magnetic fruit ability activates the metal and the whole bar flew towards him in an instant. But before he could make a move, Luffy's big hand had already landed on his head. The hand covered with Armament Haki and Conqueror's Hakis directly covered Kid's entire head. Don't even try to. Kid grabbed Luffy's wrist violently and was about to block it. However, as Luffy's palm suddenly retracted, Kid's head and Luffy's knee had an intimate contact. No accident happened. Kid passed out cleanly and neatly. Nanny. Seeing this scene, Scratchman Appu's heart skipped a beat. Damn, Kid was defeated in a single blow? Damn, what kind of monster is this Straw Hat Luffy? As supernovas, they naturally know about the bounties and strengths of other supernovas. Scratchman Appu had learned about Luffy through the bounty and black market information, and knows that this guy's team has slaughtered a king in the Royal Guard, and also killed a Shishibukai. These two things made him have a bounty of up to 200 million belly. But obviously, this bounty is not outstanding in the entire supernova team. But this scene in front of Scratchman Appu really frightened. He didn't even think about it. He turned around and ran away. Ape Papa. Straw Hat Boy, we will meet in the future. Jumping on the spot, Scratchman Appu jumped directly towards the window's slippery surface. Nami raised her foot and stomped the ground, and immediately activated the ability of Smooth Fruit. Scratchman Appu just stepped on the window, and suddenly slipped. Hey. Scratchman Appu's two arms quickly swung a few times in the air, and then fell to the ground with a plop. Asshole. Who spilled oil on the window? He got up from the ground angrily and cursed. But at this time, Luffy's big hand has already reached his head. When Luffy's palm suddenly tightened on his face, Scratchman Appu even felt difficult to breathe, and then he felt that his whole body was violently pulled forward. Boom! One hit Conqueror's knee. Scratchman Appu also followed in Kid's footsteps. I won the lottery. Besides the two of them, they have so many other pirate with a bounty. Hurry up. Bind them all. Luffy looked at the pirates lying on the ground and said, leave it to me. Frankie opened a cabin from his shoulder, took out a special rope, and happily rushed towards the pirates. This universe grows with every follower. Are you part of Infinite Novel yet? Chapter 136. Chapter 136. Frightened Law, the first supernova to escape? Kid Eustace, damn it. I also get KO in one hit. Seeing that he was defeated in one attack by Luffy over there, Kid is angry. Scratchman Appu, asshole. In front of him, can you really escape? Trafalgar Law, hee, two idiots. Skirikamanip, don't be complacent. Law, do you think your end will be any different from ours? Trafalgar Law, look, I don't think I'm necessarily caught. Jewelry Bonnie, this bastard, does he has other plan? Seeing that Red Border Luffy hit everyone with one knee attack, Jewelry Bonnie was a little uneasy. She is a woman after all. How ugly it would be if the nose was bruised and the face was swollen by the Red Border Luffy over there. Capone Big, what are you expecting? Don't worry, Red Border Luffy is also a man that upholds gender equality. After coming out of the bar, Frankie pulled a rope in his hand, and a series of pirates were tied to the rope. The bodies of these pirates are all covered with a slippery effect by Nami using the ability of the Smooth Fruit. Frankie only needs to gently tug on the rope, and he can easily drag these pirates away. Watermelon-headed bounty hunter is thinking running away right now. According to his opinion, neither of the two people is weaker than Straw Hat Luffy, and Luffy brings these people in. Obviously it will be a fierce battle. If he slip away at this time, wouldn't it be an opportunity to escape? However, while he was still thinking this, a palm was already clapped on his shoulder. Hurry up. Let's go to the next location. Woke up suddenly, the watermelon-head bounty hunter was startled. Then when he saw Frankie behind Luffy dragging a large group of pirates, the watermelon-headed bounty hunter was so shocked that his eyes almost fell out. No, this is not right. Kid and Appu must be gone. Straw Hat Luffy and his gang took the opportunity to harvest their subordinate. The watermelon-headed bounty hunter gasped, but this thought just came into his mind when his gaze fell on a red-haired man. Hiss. He suddenly took a breath of air. Isn't this Eustace Kid? He took another look. Isn't the thing that was bundled with Kid exactly Scratchman Appu? No. How long did it take for them to enter and get out? The time from entering the door to leaving the door is added together, and it must not exceed 1 minute. In such a short period of time, they actually defeated the captains and main forces of the Kid Pirates and the on-air pirates? No, not only defeated, but also capture. If he didn't see it with his own eyes, the watermelon-head bounty hunter would never believe such a thing. Hey, what are you still doing in a daze? Take us to the other location. If you delay my money-making opportunity, I will beat you to death. Seeing that the watermelon-headed bounty hunter was still in place, Luffy urged. Oh. Watermelon-headed bounty hunter quickly lead the way. Not long after, they came to the next location. Just arrived here and saw two people fighting. It's the strange monk Eurasian killer, Nami shouted excitedly. At this time, the two collided, and a figure suddenly appeared between the two of them. Nami's eyes lit up. It's X-Drake. He's also the guy who offered a bounty of more than 200 million belly. Boom. X-Drake holds a sword in one hand and an axe in the other, blocking the attacks of Eurasian killer respectively. He coldly said, "Hey, if you have the ability, go to New World and make trouble." It turned out that just as his words fell, two big hands suddenly fell from the sky. One grabs Urage's head, the other grabs Killer's head whizzing. X-Drake didn't realize what was going on, and suddenly found that the two people around him disappeared. He subconsciously turned his head to look to one side, and immediately saw the Straw Hat Luffy, who also belonged to the Supernova, jump up with double knees, directly knocking Urage and Killer to the ground. The two fell to the ground, and they didn't move at all, as if they were dead. Then he saw a muscular man in swimming trunks rushing to Urage and Killer dragging a bunch of pirates, and skillfully tied them both to the bunch of human strings. Wait, that's... Suddenly, X-Drake's eyes fell on the large string of people, and his pupils shrank suddenly, because he saw Eustace Kid, also Scratchmanapu, now at Urage and Killer. That is to say, that Straw Hat Luffy and his gang had captured 4 supernovas. Eustace Kid with the highest bounty is also included. X-Drake's heart suddenly sucked in a breath of cool air. Immediately have a bad feeling, and on the stone bench not far behind him, a pirate wearing a plush cap also saw the scene, and his expression changed drastically. What? That is the Straw Hat guy. Seeing the scene in front of him, Trafalgar Law immediately realized what is happening. Luffy defeated the two with one blow, and stretched out his hand to grab X-Drake without hesitation. Damn, X-Drake doesn't have any thoughts of fighting right now. He is not a fool. Judging from how Luffy dealt with Urage and Killer neatly just now, if this guy deals with him, he is afraid that he will follow their footstep. He turned and ran without hesitation. Ouch. As soon as he turned around and exerted force on his feet, it seemed like he was stepping on the air. X-Drake slipped and fell to the ground. Then he felt something covering his head, and it was dark. Whoosh. Luffy grabs X-Drake and hit his signature knee attack. Then he threw X-Drake to Frankie, and then he looked at the Watermelon Head Bounty Hunter. So there are 4 here, is there another one? Watermelon Head Bounty is numb at this time. He didn't know how Luffy dealt with Kid and Scratchmanapu before, but now he saw the scene. At this time, when Luffy questioned him, he hurriedly forcibly pulled himself out of the shock, and then looked around. No, I didn't see anyone. Afterwards, he picked up the intercom. This is Watermelon Head. Has anyone seen Trafalgar Law? An immediate response came from the intercom. Watermelon. Trafalgar Law was on the stone bench 150 meters in front of you just now, but just a moment ago he suddenly disappeared. Has anyone else found traces of Trafalgar Law? The watermelon-headed bounty hunter asked again. However, only a few no came from the intercom. Snail, the edge of Groove 21. Trafalgar Law suddenly appeared here out of nowhere. His face was pale, sweating profusely, and he was breathing profusely. Damn! Why is there such a strong guy in the supernova? Just now he saw Luffy defeat 3 people in an instant. Trafalgar Law didn't even make a sound, so he just used the fruit ability of his Devil Fruit to teleport. Because the teleportation range is very limited, Trafalgar Law has been using the teleportation ability continuously, and has moved to the edge of Groove 21. He took out the Den Den Mushi and shouted anxiously, "Everyone quickly go back to the ship. We have to leave this island quickly." Although he is a pirate, Trafalgar Law is very calm. He recalled what happened just now, and quickly judged that Luffy must have some purpose to catch all the supernovas. If he stays, he will definitely be captured by Luffy. Kid Eustace, this bastard. He is still weak, but he can escape. X-Drake, it's outrageous. In front of the red border Luffy, we really can't even have a chance to escape Trafalgar Law. As I said earlier, I can escape for sure. Trafalgar Law is still very confident his fruit ability. Bartolomeo, senior red border Luffy is so handsome. Cavendish, fortunately, red border Luffy and I are not in the same generation, otherwise I will be in difficult at that moment. Ding. Enter the quiz answering session. At this moment, a question appeared on the big screen. Question: how many people in the supernova were not caught by red border Luffy in the end? A. 0B, 1C, 2D, 3E, 4 Gol D. Roger. Another quiz. Rocks, answer quickly. Rocks D. Xebec Roger, I'll F *** K your grandma. Shiki, G ha 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 ha. People who can't answer the questions can only be incompetent and furious. Gol D. Roger, sorry, I forgot again, you are still forbidden to answer questions this round. Charlotte Linland, mama. St. Ethan Baron V. Nasjuro, I choose B. Gol D. Roger, oh shit? 5 elders can't sit still. St. Ethan Baron V. Nasjuro, why do I need to explain myself to the like of you? Gol D. Roger, the tone is really unfriendly. Then I also choose B. Nami, B. Tsuru, I choose E. Sengoku, Tsuru. Seeing Vice Admiral Tsuru choose E, Sengoku was so shocked. Tsuru, don't ask, I'm just guessing. Now there are only 4 supernovas left, and the largest number of people available is 4, so I chose E. Zephyr, sometimes it is indeed possible to analyze in this way, but judging from the answers of this screen so far, the answers to these questions are not regular at all. It cannot be inferred with common sense. Tsuru, I know, but I have to take a gamble. I haven't lose my life. Even if I lose the once, it's no big deal, but what if I win the bet? Now when I have the opportunity to answer the question, I always feel that I am not sure it, and it will be too late to regret it. Saint Marcus Mars, it makes sense, I'll choose E too. Frankie, choose E. This time the problem happens to be stuck with this number of people, maybe it's this one. Nico Robin, then I'll choose A. Monkey D, Luffy, huh? Robin, Trafalgar Law. Robin, did you not see that I've run away? Nico Robin, you just ran away temporarily. What if you were caught after you ran away? Gold Roger, it makes sense. Damn it, I chose early. I blame that bastard Nasjuro-san, I chose B. Saint Ethan Baron V, Nasjuro crazy. Shiki, then I will choose A. Maybe I can get another reward. Jahahaha. Saint J Garcia Saturn 8. Basil Hawkins, why didn't anyone take C? I feel like I should be able to run away. Jewelry Bonnie, okay. Then I choose D. Basil Hawkins? I said C. Jewelry Bonnie, I know. You can run there, but how do you know I can't? Don't underestimate my fruit ability. Capone Big, I guess I can't escape. I'm with Jewelry Bonnie, choose D. Rorano Zoro, choose D. Girl with a big stomach, I'll choose with you too, we're even. Jewelry Bonnie, if you choose the right one, please remember to treat me to dinner. Rorano Zoro, stop daydreaming. Countdown to answer the question. 2-1 with the end of the countdown, the red border video continued to play not here. Luffy looks at the empty stone in front. Judging from the information that the bounty hunter said just now, the Trafalgar Law was still there just a few seconds ago. If this is the case, it must not be far away. Suddenly, Luffy's observation haki was opened to the maximum and released. In an instant, his observation haki covered the entire street. However, there are a lot of houses on both sides, and there are too many people, so it is impossible to cover too far even with Luffy's top-level observation haki. Observation haki makes judgments by perceiving the breath and emotional changes of creatures. If there are only 2 people, even if the 2 people are far away from Luffy and there are many building blocks in between, Luffy can lock them clearly. But if there are 10,000 people, even if everyone gathers in a square, it will take a certain amount of time for Luffy to find him out of the crowd by relying on observation haki. After all, the more people there are, the more and more messy the breath and emotional changes will be, and the greater the impact will be. After searching for a while, Luffy failed to find any trace of Trafalgar Law, and said in a very depressed mood, damn, I was careless, and I missed 200 million belly. Nami also gritted her silver teeth and said angrily, this cunning 200 million belly man. Next time we meet him, we must not spare him. If we missed one, we can't miss the second one. Hurry up. Go to Groove 24 immediately. Catch the remaining 3 and let's get our money. Luffy waved his hand, and everyone went in the direction of the Groove 24. Chapter 137. Chapter 137. Tenryou Obito will be chopped down if there is a disagreement. Come to Groove 24. Here the bounty hunter with the watermelon head humbly leads the way in front. Boom! A gunshot. Luffy stretched out his arm, and instantly pulled the watermelon-headed bounty hunter back. The bullet immediately flew past where the watermelon-head bounty hunter was standing just now. Ah! Dash! A child cried out in pain. Luffy turned his head and looked. It turned out that the bullet just missed the watermelon-head bounty hunter, but landed on a child kneeling on the ground not far away, and directly opened a big hole in the child's arm. Everyone noticed that all the people around were kneeling on the ground, only the group of people walking over the red tree bridge next door and the group of Luffy were standing. And the person who shot just now is none other than Tenryou Obito, surrounded by the crowd on the red tree bridge next door. Damn! Luffy is burning with anger. He instantly noticed a bullet flying towards the watermelon head bounty hunter just now, and he subconsciously pulled the watermelon head bounty hunter back. But what he never expected was that the bullet that was supposed to hit the bounty hunter with a watermelon head would fall on a child. Chopper! Save the kid! Luffy yelled quickly, and then suddenly cast his eyes on the group of people at the red tree bridge next door. The geographical composition of Sabayati Archipelago is equivalent to 6 large islands surrounding 2 large islands, a total of 8 large islands. Each large island can be divided into 10 labeled small islands, and the boundaries between small islands are connected by mangrove bridges. For example, Luffy and the others are now coming from groove number 23 to groove number 24. There are many mangrove bridges on the border here. The red tree bridge that Luffy and the others walked happened to be adjacent to the one that the Tenryou Obito walked. When St. Charlos came out of the red tree bridge, Luffy and his party hadn't arrived yet, but he didn't walk by himself, but sat on the back of a slave and let the slave crawl on the ground, so the speed was not fast, and he just happened to search the crowd to see if there is any woman he likes. Although what he didn't expect was that the group of people coming out of the bridge next door didn't notice him, but walked forward swaggeringly. Especially the one with the watermelon head walking in the front, who was nodding and bowing. Those who don't know thought he was leading the way for the Tenryou Obito for this kind of situation. St. Charlos couldn't stand it, so he shot without hesitation. In his opinion, one shot is enough. No matter whether the watermelon head is dead or not, the others will definitely be scared to kneel on the ground immediately. St. Charlos really enjoyed that scene. Contrary to what he expected, not only did the watermelon head not get shot, but another guy with a straw had dared to look at him like that. How dare you stare at me? St. Charlos was extremely surprised. He raised the gun in his hand without hesitation, and was to make a hole in Luffy's body. Let him have a long-lasting memory of this encounter. Luffy was angry at this time because of the incident of hurting an innocent child by saving the watermelon head just now. Seeing that the culprit actually wanted to shoot him, he immediately yelled, Zoro, slice him, brush. Zoro stepped out of the red tree bridge in one step, and jumped towards the red tree bridge where the Tenryou Obito was. Nanny? How dare you offend the Tenryuabito? Kill him, court death. The guards and bodyguards around St. Charlos all took out their weapons and pointed at Zoro. Slash them all. Luffy's angry voice came from behind again, just what I want. Happiness is outlined in the corner of the mouth. Zoro's figure is like a gust of wind rushing into the crowd in front. Slash in just a few seconds. The head of St. Charlos rolled along the slope of the mangrove bridge to the ground of Groove 24 Sengoku. What the hell? Sabo, he actually killed a Tenryuabito. Rocks D, Xebec, ha ha ha. Well done. I also wanted to kill Tenryuabitos back then, but it's a pity that the group of idiots under them managed to prevent that. Capone Big, I thought what Luffy over here did was outrageous enough, but I didn't expect that the Red Border Luffy over there was even more outrageous. Jewelry Bonnie, in this case, the Marine Admiral over there should be coming soon. According to this situation, the Marine Admiral that appeared over there should also be Kizaru. Rorono Zoro, good job. If this bastard dies, there will be many fewer civilian killed by him. Don Quixote da Flamingo, Few Furfur. What a shameless guy. The people present suddenly saw that the Tenryuabito had been killed, and they all screamed in horror. Many people get up and run. There are also some who are frightened and paralyzed in place, not daring to move their mouths. Why are you wearing collars around your necks? Zoro looked at the few remaining people and asked in a deep voice. These people didn't hold weapons just now, so Zoro didn't kill them. These slaves were also overly frightened by the incident before them, and only after hearing Zoro talking to them did they wake up from the shock. A very good-looking female slave replied nervously, we are the slaves of St. Charlos. Yes, we are slaves. Several other slaves also spoke. Slaves? From now on, you are not. Zoro frowned slightly, and reached for the collars around the necks of these slaves. Don't. The female slave quickly grabbed Zoro's wrist and shouted, no, there's a bomb in here. However, Zoro didn't seem to hear this. A jet black medium appeared on his wrist, and then he broke it hard, and threw the broken collar into the sky. Boom. The collar explodes in the air. Boom, boom, boom. Among the shocked eyes of these slaves, the collars on their necks were all broken by Zoro and thrown into. Run now while you're at it. After leaving a word, Zoro left without looking back. Saving people is just a matter of convenience. As for whether they are willing to escape, it is none of his business. Chopper over there also bandaged the injured child, gave him some medicine for trauma, and instructed him how to use it. However, the child's father knocked off the medicine bottle in Chopper's hand. It's all your fault. If your guy in the straw hat had not pulled that watermelon head away, our child wouldn't be hurt. Why don't you kneel down when you see the Tenryuabito? It's because of you that we angered the Tenryuabito. Our children will suffer such pain. You are the devils. The child's mother also roared angrily. Confusion appeared in Chopper's eye. Seeing this, Luffy didn't say anything more, stretched out his hand, pulled Chopper back, and then walked forward. Restaurant on Groove 24. Hawkins, what are you doing? Why are you staring at me? Noticing that Hawkins' eyes are cast towards this side from time to time, Big asked, very unhappy. I'm counting the chances of you being able to enter the new world alive. Hawkins said calmly. Capone Big said disdainfully, what? What are the chances of me going there? 1%. Hawkins replied. Ha 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 ha. Capone Big laughed out loud. Hey, Hawkins, are you looking for death? Capone Big couldn't believe the probability given by Hawkins. Believe it or not. Seeing that Capone Big doesn't believe it, Hawkins is too lazy to talk. Hey, fortune teller, look at me. At this time, Jewelry Bonnie looked at Hawkins while gnawing on the pig's trotter. She saw Hawkins immediately began to turn a few cards in his hand. After a while, his complexion became sour. Weird. Why is your chance of entering the new world alive is 1%? If only one person is like this, it means that he will be in great trouble. But if two guys who have nothing to do with each other are both 1%, this is obviously abnormal. Jewelry Bonnie pouted. Hey, fortune teller, are you suddenly becoming stupid? This is the Sabayati archipelago. As long as they pass through the Fishman Island, they can successfully reach the new world. And this guy in front of her actually said that the chance of her reaching the new world alive is only 1%. Isn't that nonsense? However, at this time Hawkins had no time to argue with them this matter. He thought of a possibility. A few cards were flipped by him quickly in front of him, and soon, his expression changed. Not good. My chance is also 1%. Others may not believe it, but Hawkins knows that his fortune-telling will never be wrong. Although there are many things that he can't calculate the probability of, but as long as he can calculate the probability will never go wrong. No, no, no. My journey can't stop here. The way out. Where is the way out? Hawkins flipped the cards in front of him quickly, and he didn't even have time to catch his breath. After a while, his card stopped. A silver lining. Heaved a sigh of relief. Hawkins stood up suddenly. Under the surprised eyes of Capone Big and Jewelry Bonnie, Hawkins went straight to the back door without looking back. With a bang, he pushed open the door and leave. So anxious. Capone Big frowned suspiciously. Boss, that girl had also leave. At this moment, Vader pointed in the direction of Jewelry Bonnie and said, Nanny. Capone Big subconsciously looked at Jewelry Bonnie's position, but found that Jewelry Bonnie's figure was no longer there. He turned his head and looked towards the back door where Hawkins escaped just now, but he didn't see Jewelry Bonnie. Only a little girl ran out from there. Vader asked cautiously, Boss, I heard that Hawkins is very accurate in fortune-telling. Should we also retreat quickly? Okay, let's go too. Thinking of this, Capone Big immediately put down the knife and fork in his hand and stood up. Stretch out his hand, and an open door appeared in his palm. Then all his subordinate around got in. The moment these people got close to the palm of Capone Beeg, they all shrunk quickly and were sucked in at this time. A girl's voice came from the direction of this door. It's Capone Beeg. A bounty of 138 million belly. There is still a small surprise in the voice. Capone Beeg looked over and saw Luffy and his party. Straw Hat Luffy. He narrowed his eyes slightly, looked at Luffy, and said coldly, "What? Do you want to have a fight?" Luffy didn't answer this question, but looked around, and then looked at Capone Beeg. "Shouldn't Jewelry Bonnie and Hawkins are here too?" Puffing a cigar, Capone Beeg replied coldly, "Those two guys escaped from the back door just now." Although his bounty is only 138 million belly, the opponent is only a guy with 200 million belly. Capone Beeg will not be afraid of the other party because of the difference in bounty. As an ability user of the castle fruit, Capone Beeg believes that as long as he unfolds the big castle, the guy with a bounty 200 million will be easily killed by him. What? Run away. Hearing this, Luffy immediately showed a horrified expression. Damn it. Those two guys together are almost 400 million belly. Without the slightest hesitation, Luffy directly rushed towards the back door. When Luffy get near Capone Beeg, Luffy took advantage of the opportunity to use his signature attack boom. Capone Beeg felt as if a huge earthquake had suddenly occurred in his head. Two eyes were completely black, and then completely lost consciousness. Luffy came to the back door with Capone Beeg in his hand. Observation Haki was released quickly, then he let out a sigh of relief. Damn it. They ran away. Capone Beeg, nanny? Of the three, I was the only one caught. Basil Hawkins, you idiot, I have already warned you over there. Who is to blame if you don't believe it yourself? Obviously, that woman is much smarter than you. Jewelry Bonnie, I guess. The reason why I ran away with you over there is probably not because I believed in your divination, but because I wanted to use this excuse to escape paying for my meal. Roronoa Zoro, so, am I right? Jewelry Bonnie, huh? Ha ha. Swordsman, we are going to get rewards again. Ding. Anyone who answers wrongly in this prize quiz will be punished. St. Ethan Baron v. Nasjuro, the right to answer the next round of questions will be deprived, and life expectancy will be deducted in 11 days. Gold Roger, the right to answer the next round of questions will be deprived, and the life expectancy will be deducted in 3 days. Nami, deprivation of the right to answer questions in the next round, 2 months and 19 days of life deducted. Jewelry Bonnie, deprived of the right to answer the next round of questions, deducting 8 months and 22 days of life. Copy Roronoa Zoro, deprive of the right to answer the next round of questions, and deduct 8 months and of life. Chapter 138. Chapter 138. Frankie swallows the pacifist Roronoa Zoro, nanny? Not option D. Jewelry Bonnie, hey. Is this screen wrong? Trafalgar Law, Nee and Hawkins, isn't it 3 people? The 2 people who had already started to celebrate getting reward in their hearts suddenly saw that they were punished. Trafalgar Law, what's the situation? Judging from this penalty, option E is judged to be the correct option. Tsuru, is it actually E? Did I get it right? Shouldn't it be D? Although the answer given by the screen seems to be E, Vice Admiral Tsuru was a little confused just now when Capone Beeg was caught by Red Border Luffy. Vice Admiral Tsuru pinched himself hard, very depressed. However, when the correct answer was given to her, Vice Admiral Tsuru still couldn't believe it. St. Marcus Mars, it's strange. I also got the answer right? Frankie, if the screen is wrong, will it be corrected? Sengoku, no. The answer is E. Sengoku suddenly found a problem. Hearing what Sengoku said, Vice Admiral Tsuru also reacted immediately. Tsuru, oh. The question is how many people in the supernova have not been caught by Red Border Luffy? Then the supernova who has not been caught by Red Border Luffy should also include Red Border Luffy himself. Puff. Everyone heard the Vice Admiral's analysis, and they all couldn't help but spit out their blood. Too much. But if you think it carefully, the current situation is really like this. Trafalgar Law, Jewelry Bonnie, Basil Hawkins, and Red Border Luffy. Aren't these the 4 supernovas that were not caught by the Red Border Luffy? Jewelry Bonnie, AHH. This question is too much. I blame the swordsman for choosing me and destroying my luck. Roronoa Zoro, idiot girl with a big stomach. Just remember, now you owe me. Zoro is extremely depressed. Ding. The top 3 correct answerers in this prize quiz are Tsuru, Marcus Mars, and Frankie. Congratulations to the 3. Congratulations to Tsuru, getting 15 years younger. Congratulations to Marcus Mars, reward the blood of the serpent of natural will, electricity. Congratulations to Frankie, reward the boosted gear. Ding. Because the blood of the serpent of natural will, electricity, and the boosted gear are magical things from Otherworld, special remarks are made. Blood of the serpent of natural will, electricity, remarks integrate the blood of the serpent of natural will, electricity, the owner can get the power of thunder and lightning. Marcus Mars, the power of thunder and lightning, not bad. Plus my own power. This is definitely a very suitable ability for me. Remarks on the boosted gear, because the soul of Red Dragon is lost, the artifact was modified. The boosted gear has the power of boost and transfer at the same time possesses the balance breaker Red Dragon armor Usopp armor. Tony Chopper, wow. It's armor. Vinsmoke Sanji, hey. Just from the sound of the name, you know that this armor must be amazing. Frankie, ahaha. This artifact seems very powerful. It can assist, it can be the main attack, and the key is that it can transform into armor. Super. Marine Headquarters, Marineford Tsuru. Congratulations. You are young now too. Seeing that the appearance of Vice Admiral Tsuru changed, Garp happily shouted at Vice Admiral Tsuru. Yes. I didn't expect to get this answer right. It feels so good to be 15 years younger. Vice Admiral Tsuru made no secret of her inner joy. It was beyond words. Although Vice Admiral Tsuru is almost 60 years old after being 15 years younger, but for them, the strength of this young state has not deteriorated significantly compared to the peak period. The most important thing is, her waist is no longer sore, her back is no longer painful, and her heel is no longer cramped. She looked at Sengoku happily, and was to say something, but suddenly saw Sengoku's gray hair at the temples, and suppressed all the words she wanted to say. Congratulations! Sengoku said congratulations on his mouth, but he felt uncomfortable in his heart. The four companions at the same time, Zephyr, Garp and Tsuru, were all 15 years younger, but he was not only not young, but also aged 2 years. His heart is very bitter. Gol D Roger, congratulations, Vice Admiral Tsuru, you, Garp, and Zephyr are getting younger. Shiki, gee ha 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 ha. Roger, you have bad intentions. Why don't you congratulate Sengoku for getting his reward? Gol D Roger, look at what you said. Sengoku is feeling very bitter right now. Congratulations to him now, isn't he asking for trouble? Sengoku, shut up. Roger, don't think I don't know what you're thinking. Trying to piss me off? I won't be fooled. Gol D Roger, actually, you are still angry, right? Sengoku, I'm mad at you. Luffy couldn't find the whereabouts of Hawkins and Jewelry Bonnie, so he had to go back angrily. Seeing Luffy approaching, the watermelon-headed bounty hunter said tremblingly, big brother, I already show you their location, can you let me go? Luffy puts his arms around the shoulder of the watermelon-headed bounty hunter. Don't worry, just do one more thing for me, and I won't have anything to do with you. What is it? Follow me. 1 hour later, edge of Groove 66. Watermelon Head Bounty Hunter dragged 19 big treasure chests back from Marine Base with Frankie's rope. When he came to Luffy and the others, he said nervously, boss, everything has been exchanged, and it's all here, a total of 1.914 billion belly. Luffy gave Califa a look, and Califa immediately stepped forward to check. After a while, she nodded, the number is right. Hearing this, the watermelon-headed bounty hunter breathed a sigh of relief, then looked nervously at Luffy. Boss, then I can go. Not yet, Luffy said coldly. At this moment, the heart of the watermelon-headed bounty hunter suddenly became cold. It's all over. If they don't let him go, then there is only one possibility. Just when he was thinking his wife and children at home and wanted to cry, a stack of money was stuffed into his hands. You can go now. Luffy's voice fell calmly in his mind. This. Looking at such a large pile of belly in his hand, the watermelon-head bounty hunter knew that it was a fraction of the bounty he had exchanged just now. A person who could kill him at any time gave him so much money. How dare he take it? But the other party handed over the money. If he doesn't pick it up, it seems that he is too disrespectful to the boss. However, if he really take the money, if the other party says, I really dare to take it from me, wouldn't it be cool? For a while, the watermelon-headed bounty hunter didn't pick it up, and it didn't matter if he didn't pick it up, as if the money was delivered to what are you doing in a daze? This is the information fee, you deserve it. Finding that the other party was still in a daze, Luffy put the money on the ground, then patted the other party on the shoulder, and took him away. Watermelon-head bounty hunter dares to pick up the money. He looked at Luffy's back, and suddenly shouted, boss, you run away quickly. The 10 Ryuobito were killed, and the Marine side will immediately send a Marine Admiral to come as soon as they receive the notification. Luffy stopped, turned to look at Watermelon Head, and smiled slightly. Thank you. Leaving Groove 66, Luffy and his party went to Groove 33 and their ship docked at the pier of Groove 33. Since Marine Admiral is coming, shall we stop and deal with Marine Admiral? Zoro asked. Luffy frowned slightly. Can Admiral be exchanged for bounties? Of course not, Nami said with a smile. Luffy spread his hands. That's it. We won't get any money from it, so why are we going to fight with him? An admiral must be very powerful. If he defeat us, then aren't we at a loss? Makes sense. Zoro nodded, feeling that Luffy was right. Gol D Roger, ha ha ha. That's a good reason. Edward Newgate, it's really worthless, so just avoid it. Borsalino, that's right, I agree with him very much. However, things are not developing in the direction Luffy wants. A beam of laser light suddenly shoots out. Kang Lang, Shisui unsheathed, one sword style slash. Zoro using Marine 6 style Soro and stepped out. His figure appeared in front in an instant, covered by armament haki, blocking the laser beam with his sword attack. Whoosh. The direction of this laser beam was changed immediately. It flew towards the sea and sky in the distance, and disappeared into the sky. A Shishibukai. Zoro frowned, and immediately saw the culprit who sent out the laser beam just now. After solving Crocodile and Alabasta, the Straw Hat Pirates have collectively learned a lot of necessary knowledge, including all the Shishibukai, so now Zoro recognizes Bartholomew Kuma at a glance. No, he is not. At this time, Luffy suddenly spoke up. Hearing this, Nami said in surprise, isn't he Bartholomew Kuma from Shishibukai? No, he's a robot. Luffy shook his head, and then explained, my observation haki can't sense the existence of any breathing in him. When he moves, I hears the sound of mechanical parts robot. Hearing this, Frankie widened his eyes and carefully stared at the pacifista in front of him, a little surprised. Because the robot in front of him doesn't look like any machine at all from its appearance, this technology is definitely better than his technology. At this moment, the pacifista raised his hand again, and the golden laser beams condensed again. One sword style big shock. Zoro didn't show any politeness, and directly slashed over with a sword. A powerful sword energy instantly penetrated from the middle of the pacifist, splitting it in half. fall to the sides with a bang tsitsizey. On the smoothest shoe section, there are clusters of electric sparks. It really is a robot. Frankie rushed over excitedly. He squatted on the ground to examine carefully, then grabbed one of the robot's hands and began to eat it. Nanny! Khalifa opened her mouth wide in astonishment when she saw this scene. Lucci and Keiko are also stunned. However, the partners of the Straw Hat Pirates are not surprised. Click, click, click. Frankie finished eating the hand, and then started to eat the robot's body, as if the pacifista was not made of steel, but chocolate. Everyone is not in a hurry, just wait patiently for Frankie to eat the robot. When he ate the last part, Frankie stood up, and stretched out his palm to the sky. As the golden energy gathers, a laser beam is sent out from Frankie's hand in an instant, straight into the sky. Wow! Dash, Chopper, Usopp and Brook showed envious looks at the same time. Lucci, this is much more efficient than Shigen. I can also release laser steel beams, this feels awesome. Frankie waved his hand excitedly. In addition, the technical data the pacifista has also been fused in Frankie's mind. When he goes back, he needs to calm down and study these technological data carefully. Afterwards, the group continued to walk towards the port. However, when they just reached the shore, a shell came by the wind and waves, landed on the ground, and a violent explosion occurred. And before the cannonball exploded, a figure jumped off the cannonball and landed on the ground. Woo, hey, can you wait? I need to ask you something. Borsalino was to ask questions in his usual pretentious tone, but suddenly saw the straw hat on Luffy's head, and his eyes lit up. Are you the Straw Hat Pirates? Luffy picked his nostrils. Oh, what's the matter? Uncle with an ugly face. Ah, you really have no manners at all. If it weren't for you guys, would I have to run all the way here? What a bunch of bastards. Do you want to taste the feeling of being kicked by the speed of light, or do you take the initiative to surrender? Borsalino is not happy being directly turned into an obscene uncle by Luffy. No, who are you? Luffy flicked Booger to the ground in front of Kizaru, and asked with a confused face. Chapter 139. Chapter 139. The Straw Hat Group fights Kizaru. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Borsalino, I'm a Marine Admiral. Kizaru. Borsalino had a solemn expression on his face hearing Borsalino's self-introduction. Everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates couldn't help twitching their mouths. Why is it such a coincidence? Already arrived at the pier, why can't he just wait to show up? If he come a little later, they don't even need to meet. Luffy smiled wryly, and spread his hands. Why don't you pretend you didn't see us? Dash. Woo, this is indeed a good suggestion. Hearing Luffy's words, Borsalino really started to think seriously, but he thought for a while, then shook his head again. No, if I let you go, I can't explain to the Tenryuobito, so, please go die. Speaking, Borsalino pointed his finger forward. A golden laser beam strikes immediately. Let me, Frankie shouted quickly, opened his palm, and also released a laser beam. Whizzing. Two laser beams crossed, and Frankie's laser beam landed on Borsalino's body, dealing a massive amount of damage, and Kizaru's laser beam skipped Frankie's side and penetrated Keiku's shoulder. Hey, I thought you going to block the laser again. Keiku clutched the blood overflowing from his shoulders. He was stupefied because Zoro took the initiative to defend just now to intercept the laser beam emitted by the pacifista, so Keiku thought Frankie did the same. As a result, if he didn't pay attention, he was shot by the laser beam. Why? Frankie grinned, with an embarrassing expression on his face. I'm sorry. Actually, that's what I thought, but I didn't expect that the two beams of light did not meet. Nanny. Everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates collectively reveals a black question mark expression. Isn't this my laser? How did you make it? Borsalino was also surprised to see Frankie emitting a laser beam. However, as soon as his words fell, Luffy's big hand stretched out in an instant. The palm is enlarged. With armament haki, Luffy directly grabbed Borsalino. Gecko Moria, hey he. Here we go. The signature mover. Crocodile, will the Admiral hold on? Don Quixote da Flamingo, phew fur. Can't it be? Will the Admiral fall in one move? Capone Big. If that's the case, then it's not that we over there are too weak, but that red border Luffy is too strong. Seeing the red border Luffy used his signature attack again, all the moviegoers stared wide-eyed, watching this scene attentively as Luffy's arm retracted in an instant, his knee pushed forward. Conqueror's haki and armament haki are all wrapped around the knees, and they went straight to Borsalino's head with a bang. Nanny. Borsalino hadn't reacted yet. His head was grabbed by someone suddenly, that is to say, at the same moment, he immediately sensed a terrifying power attacking in an instant. Luffy's knee was to make contact to his face, and Borsalino did not hesitate to use the ability of his devil fruit. His whole body instantly entered an elemental state. Snapped. Borsalino's body exploded into countless light particles, spreading out in all directions. Although armament haki can capture elemental entities, it doesn't mean that armament haki is invincible when facing Logia ability users. To put it bluntly, when you use armament haki, as long as you hit the ability user in the elemental state, you can cause a substantial attack. However, armament haki is not a sea stone. He cannot prevent Logia ability users from using their abilities. Just like Borsalino at this time, Luffy wrapped around armament haki, which made Luffy able to attack him. But Borsalino actively disperses into countless light particles. This cannot be stopped by Luffy. The target that was originally controlled in his hand disappeared instantly, so Luffy's blow naturally didn't reach Borsalino. However, Luffy didn't accept this, and took advantage and pushed the Nini completely out. In the place where the light gathered in front, there was a sudden dull impact. Borsalino's body was directly knocked out of the pile of rays of light that started to gather. Borsalino spat out a mouthful of blood. He looked at Luffy in shock. Nanny? You obviously didn't touch me. Luffy nodded. Yes. Even if I don't touch you with this move, it can still hit you from a distance. Hit in the air. Hearing this, Borsalino frowned, and he looked at Luffy in confusion. Damn, that couldn't be Conqueror's entanglement. Yes, but you are really strong, you were hit by my Conqueror's entanglement, and you can still stand up. You are indeed the highest combat power in Marine the enemies Luffy met before, no matter who they are, as long as they are hit by this move, they will all be instantly defeated. And the Marine Admiral in front of him can still talk normally after receiving his attack. This is what Luffy didn't expect. Woo, your words sound really irritating. I am a Marine Admiral, don't look down on me. Borsalino can't help being angered by Luffy's words. Suddenly, Borsalino raised his hand again, and another laser beam condensed instantly. Zoro instantly drew out the black sword Shisui, and his figure approached Borsalino in an instant. He slashed at Borsalino Kang. A golden lightsaber instantly appeared in Borsalino's hand, and struck together with Zoro's sword. Suddenly, Kizaru was shocked by the powerful force. Although he likes to use the laser sword, he is not a swordsman, and his swordsmanship is half-baked. Facing the sudden attack of Zoro, he originally thought he was just a small character, but the opponent's attack, no matter in terms of the strength, accuracy, or speed of the attack, is definitely a great swordsman-level existence. After Zoro struck, the other two swords also joined the battle, one after another like the shadow of swords, instantly forcing Borsalino to deal with it with all his strength. At this time, Luffy yelled, "Everyone go!" Speaking, he rushed up first. Goma Goma no double-headed snake elephant gun. Luffy's hands are instantly elongated and covered with jet black armament haki. His two fists are like two vicious snake heads, attacking Kizaru at a tricky angle. Sanji stepped on and jumped above Kizaru's head. The armament haki covered on his feet is infinitely close to the advanced armament haki. Mutton shot. The violent kick hit Borsalino's head with a bang. Usopp pulls the slingshot full. An ordinary ball is covered with armament haki, aiming at Borsalino. Frankie uses the laser beam to shot at Borsalino. Although it seems to have no effect, at least it has a bonus in terms of momentum. Buggy looked at it, it seemed that there was no place left, so he simply didn't make a move. CN Fleur clutch. Robin crossed her arms. 6 arms cover in armament haki suddenly appeared on Borsalino's body, pulling his hands and legs back. Nanny. Suddenly being attacked like this, Borsalino was seriously stunned. However, how could the partners of the Straw Hat Pirates let go of such an opportunity? Sanji's feet come crashing down. Borsalino couldn't dodge, although he managed to avoid his head being attacked, but Sanji's kick still landed on his shoulder. Boom! Borsalino's right shoulder suddenly sank. At the same time, Luffy's fist landed on his stomach. Boom! The powerful force immediately made Borsalino feel his internal organs tumbling under this powerful force. His whole body was instantly shot to the rear, leaving a circle of air waves in place. Hey, Luffy, you hit him too far. Otherwise I'll kill him with one blow. Usopp shot out, and he don't know where it hit Borsalino. He just heard him say ouch. It seems to be very painful. Goma Goma no Grizzly Magnum. Luffy stepped into the air, Jeppo and Sora together, and rushed towards Borsalino in an instant. The fist in his right hand and left hand was as big as a small hill. It is covered with armament haki and Conqueror's haki. Borsalino suffered a great loss at this time. Not only his shoulders were swollen and painful, but his stomach was extremely cramped. He also got a shot from Usopp on his ass, and he is bleeding. At this time, he saw Luffy rushing over with Conqueror's haki-wrapped fists. Borsalino was the one in a panic. Damn. No one told me that these guys are so powerful before coming here. Borsalino secretly cursed the 8th generation of Sengoku's ancestors. Sengoku, even Borsalino can't take down Red Border Luffy. Kyuzen, not only did he not win, but he got injured. Tsuru, don't laugh at Kizaru over there, facing the Red Border Luffy group over there alone. If you two go, I'm afraid you won't even be able to come back. Sakazuki, humph. Impossible. I'll just kill them. Borsalino, woo, who wouldn't talk big. By comparison, even if I'm defeated, at least I can get out. But can you? Before coming, the information Borsalino got from Sengoku was clearly an ordinary little pirate group, the captain's highest strength with a bounty of only 200 million. The rewards for both combatants are only 50 million belly. Others are even less, but now, what Borsalino can conclude is that both the opponent's swordsman and the captain can fight him alone. As for the others, they are not weak either. The key is that there are still a few people who have not made a move. It seems that to deal with a marine admiral like him, the other pirates don't need to use all their strength at all. Yada no Kagami. Seeing Luffy approaching, Borsalino's right hand is on the top, left hand is on the bottom, palms facing each other. A thick golden light shot out from his hand, and bounced several times between several buildings in an instant. Luffy rushed to the front. This punch did not connect. It is predicted that Borsalino will dodge this blow. In this case, why waste effort? Luffy turned his head and saw that Borsalino had already appeared in midair. In terms of frontal combat power, Borsalino may not be the strongest among the 3 admirals, but in terms of escape ability, he ranks at the top. It's not just bragging, as long as Borsalino wants to leave the battlefield, unless a net has been set up in advance, otherwise, no one can keep Borsalino from leaving at this time. Usopp shot again at Kizaru. Seeing the bullets approaching, Borsalino instantly dispersed his figure into countless light particles. Afterwards, he took advantage of the opportunity to gather in the sky Yasakani no Megatama. Among the light and shadow, Borsalino condensed into a human form. He crossed his hands, and then opened them suddenly. Countless golden light particles, instantly raining down. Let me see what you guys will do. Since the melee is not the style, then he rely on the fruit ability to fly and attack at a distance. At this moment, countless tiny particles suddenly flew up from the ground. Luffy turned to look at Buggy. This is Buggy's awakened ability. Originally Luffy was going to make a move, but now that Buggy made a move, he stopped. The countless small particles flew into the air almost instantly. and then formed a large hemispherical bowl. Nami! Help me, Buggy yelled. Okay. With Nami's intelligence, she naturally understood what Buggy wanted. She held her finger and activated the ability of Smooth Fruit Slippery Zero Friction Mirror Surface. Her Devil Fruits ability is instantly attached to the big bowl made by Buggy. Then the mouth of this big bowl was facing the direction of Kizaru attack, like a big mouth, swallowing all the laser beams. Swipe, swipe, swipe. Chapter 140 Buggy's new trick, piercing Kizaru. Buggy, what is this? Shanks, the combination of these fruit abilities is really interesting. Borsalino, damn it, even the my attack can be completely reflected. Shiki, mirror reflects light, there's nothing wrong with that. Ja ha 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 ha. Nanny. Seeing Buggy make a big bowl, Borsalino's eyes widened. He put away his attack, and looked at the people below with a confused face. Damn it, I really can't do anything to you guys. Don't just talk, you need to be aware of your surrounding. During the conversation, Buggy activated his ability to break up the giant bowl in the sky again. Countless fragments recombined and condensed into a 40-meter long machete. Under the control of Buggy, the machete slashed towards Borsalino from above. Woo, it's really scary to make such a big sword. However, no matter how big the thing is, it won't have any effect on Logia's elementalization. Looking at the 40-meter machete cut down, Borsalino is not worried at all. Even if Buggy has armament haki, he can't wrap armament haki on this sword in the air. Sure enough, when the sword cuts across Borsalino's body, it's like skipping across the lake, leaving only a little ripple. You guys, your strength is indeed beyond my expectations. It's just, if you want to deal with this old man, you must first be able to fly. Being beaten up just now, Borsalino feels very uncomfortable now. He immediately wants to regain some ground in terms of teasing Buggy. Take me up, I'm going to beat him up. Hearing Borsalino's words that deserves a beating, Luffy immediately shouted, and me, let me go up too. Zoro has prepared 3 swords so he can fight, and he has experience in cooperating with Buggy, so he is more familiar with air combat. As for Jeppo, although Jeppo can provide the ability to stay in the air, it is only used to deal with ordinary people. Devil Fruit abilities like Borsalino, if someone uses Jeppo to chase him, he will definitely be easily handled by Borsalino. Don't worry, I'll try to deal with him myself. Buggy's body leaves his feet and flies into the air. Splitting fruit ability, except for the feet, other can fly. Soru. Buggy's ankles trampled on the air violently, and instantly came to the front of the 40-meter broadsword. He grasped the 40-meter broadsword. The jet black medium surged out of Buggy's hand like ink, and climbed crazily along the handle towards the front. Being on the ship at the same time as Zoro, Buggy's armament haki has been trained to the max. Although his talent in training is definitely not as good as Zoro, he often practiced for such a long time, and with the guidance of Luffy, his armament haki has also been trained to a very advanced level. Buggy machete. The man is in the air. Buggy is waving the 40-meter machete wrapped around armament haki, slashing at Borsalino. Hey, you're really a bit sloppy with this big sword. Borsalino is tossing and turning. Although he is agile, Buggy's blade is big enough and has a large killing radius, which really makes him a little uncomfortable. Laser. Dash. Seizing the dodge gap, Borsalino raised his hand and pointed, and a golden laser beam immediately penetrated Buggy. Hey, be careful Buggy, don't fail. If you can't, just switch to us. Everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates shouted from below. Ha ha, I'm fine. Countless sand grain-sized Buggy body in the air quickly backfilled into the hole in the body that was shot by the laser beam just now. Borsalino, nanny? My laser can't even hurt his body? But he is not even in the elemental state. Buggy, haha. The me over there has already split to the level of fine sand. I will shatter as soon as you hit me, and I will take the initiative to unload the force, and I will not take any damage at all. Tsuru, not only for this reason, but also the Buggy over there also has a good armament haki. The moment he was hit just now, those crumbs were also covered with armament haki. Under the double protection, the damage of the laser beam is all weakened. Buggy, so there are armament haki in play. I didn't even see it clearly. Gold Roger, haha. Little Buggy, you have to learn from you over there. Buggy, got it, Captain. What? The expression on Borsalino's face when he saw that Buggy's body didn't suffer any damage. He is a little unbelieving. He clicks forward with both hands at the same time. Laser beams, like machine guns, keep passing through Buggy. In the blink of an eye, Buggy's body becomes riddled with holes. However, after a short while, when the pieces of armament haki covered in the air returned to Buggy's body, an intact Buggy appeared in front of Borsalino again. Wow! Buggy is amazing. Even Marine Admiral can't do anything him. Chopper clapped his hands excitedly. We don't know if whether Buggy can beat Marine Admiral or not, but we know Marine Admiral will definitely not be able to beat Buggy. Usopp also made a judgment. Frankie laughed loudly. It seems like both sides can't gain an advantage. Zoro said, if the other party insists on leaving, Buggy really can't catch up. In this situation, let me play a battle song to cheer up Buggy. Brook pulled out his cane sword and put it on the scabbard, and the passionate rhythm was ignited. Buggy has returned to his original state, and the corners of his mouth curled up into a wicked smile. Don't leave after the fight. Now it's time for me to attack. The 40-meter sword in the sky suddenly fell apart and turned into countless small blades. And Buggy's own body also disintegrated into many separate small pieces. These small pieces each hold a blade and then endow armament haki. Taste my strength. 100 Buggy. The next moment, the battle scene in the sky turned into hundreds of body fragments with hundreds of blades flying around Borsalino's body. If you look at it from a distance, it looks a bit like a large group of flies scrambling to bite an egg. Borsalino frowned. He suddenly realized that he was surrounded by Buggy. If he want to break through at this time, he will definitely not be able to take into account all the buggy pieces, and all the buggy pieces are wrapped around Armament Hackey's blades, and they all have the ability to break through him. He still can escape, but getting injured is absolutely inevitable. Dignified Marine Admiral came here from Marine headquarters to arrest the murderer who killed the Tenryu Obito. As a result, the murderer was not caught, but was injured by an ordinary crew member of the opposing pirate group. Wouldn't it be embarrassing to say this? So at this moment, Borsalino, because of wanting to preserve his reputation, doesn't want to retreat. AMA no Murakumo. Vast battle experience made Borsalino summon 2 golden lightsabers without any hesitation, and became a dual-sword swordsman whirring. 2 light swords danced around Borsalino's body into an impenetrable circle of swords. Those little buggies are constantly being chopped up by Borsalino. Yes, the advantage of little buggy is the large number, but because it is split into small pieces of buggy, the degree of sturdiness must be greatly reduced under Borsalino's non-stop attack. The little buggy is constantly being broken up. In a blink of an eye, the number of remaining little buggies seemed to be insufficient to surround Borsalino. 100 buggy return. The buggy stopped attacking, whether it was the broken little buggy or the unbroken little buggy. They all flew back quickly at this time, and reassembled into a big buggy. Countless gravel and sand also flew back, turning into a 40-meter machete in Buggy's hands. Don't leave. The winner hasn't been decided yet. Buggy pointed at Borsalino, then raised a 40-meter machete and slashed violently. Oh, you forgot to use Armament Hackey? Then I won't be polite. Seeing that the 40-meter machete that Buggy just assembled this time has not been wrapped around Armament Hackey, Borsalino's light sword in both hands repeatedly slashed. It's like chopping vegetables and cutting melons, chopping the 40-meter long machete piece by piece. Almost half of it was cut off. Buggy get the remaining half to cover the armed color. Hackey J, you got fooled. Seeing Borsalino approaching to a position of more than 20 meters, Buggy suddenly grinned. Hold the handle of the sword with both hands, then stab in the direction of Borsalino. How can I be fool? Don't be kidding. Facing this level of attack, Borsalino stepped back a few meters in an instant. Although he retreated passively, this space is enough for him to dodge. The fact is, just as Borsalino expected, when Buggy's arm was fully stretched, the 20-meter broken sword still failed to touch his body. It's really scary. If I didn't break the sword in half, I would have been stabbed by you. Borsalino's tone is full of ridicule. Looking at Borsalino's deliberate teasing of him, Buggy was not only not angry, but laughed loudly. Haha. It might be broken, but it's not broken now. As soon as Buggy's voice falls, those blade fragments that were originally scattered and floating in the air returned instantly. The 20-meter broken sword instantly turned into a 40-meter machete. As the blade extends along the direction, the first half of the blade naturally passes through Borsalino's body. When combined as a Logia fruit expert with a keen sense of the battlefield, the moment the 40-meter machete recovered, Borsalino immediately put his body into the elemental state, thus avoiding the possibility of being penetrated. But even so, he couldn't help but feel a little scared. Buggy's attack method is beyond his expectation. This is the first time he encountered this kind of attack. It is really difficult to react. But at this moment, the jet black medium is like an electric current being transmitted on a conductor, and it rages from the blade quickly. Borsalino suddenly realized something not good. He thought to himself, and quickly dodged to the side. But after all, it's still a step too late. The moment his body was to leave the blade, Buggy's Armament Hackey was transmitted to the blade in an instant. Puff! A wound appeared below Borsalino's left rib. Bright red blood splashed out instantly. Borsalino, what? He hurt me. Buggy, I'm dead. I'm so good over there. That move just now is too domineering. I must learn it. Sengoku, the trick just now, whoever encounters it for the first time, will not avoid getting hurt. Edward Newgate Gururera, I have to say, if the old man met the red nose over there, without knowing the information, he would probably suffer. Gold Roger, this move is outrageous. Little Buggy, look at you over there, you can develop such a powerful move, you have to work hard. You must not be compared to the lower level by you over there. Kuzan, especially when dealing with people with Logia abilities, this trick will have a miraculous effect. Even the fastest Borsalino is not spared. If it were me, I would probably die too. It's a cut. Frankie shouted excitedly, it must be the effect brought by my battle song. Yo ho 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 ho. Brooks sing more vigorously. Zoro narrowed his eyes slightly. Buggy's move, it's very strong. The Buggy move just now is also very strong. Arrogant Sanji added. Luffy grinned and said, the one that Nami and Buggy teamed up with just now is not bad either. When faced with such a large-scale killing ability in the future, this move will be specially used to defend. Of course, I'm very capable. Nami pouted her lips, then clenched her fists, and said, you and Buggy fruit are awakened, and I have to work hard, and strive to awaken mine as soon as possible. Luffy and Buggy saw the transformation brought by the fruit ability awakening of Luffy and Buggy, and Nami also yearned for the fruit awakening in her heart. I have to work hard too. I look forward to my flower fruit awakening soon. I don't know if it will be possible for me to bloom, Robin said with a smile. What, me? If my munch fruit is awakened, won't everything around me be swallowed? Ha ha ha, in the sky, damn it. Kizaru touched his own wounds, and was extremely angry. But as a lazybone who is used to clocking in and leaving get off work, he can't fight with his life now that he is injured. He gotta prove that he did not laze around this time. What a scary group of guys. I'll deal with you guys next time. After saying ruthless words, Borsalino immediately turned into a light and disappeared into the sky. This universe grows with every follower. Are you part of Infinite Novel yet?